Chapter 266. The sky was clear, and the lake water was clear. Fish were swimming around happily. The breeze was gentle, and the willow leaves were falling. The lake area near the Blood Evil Island was beautiful and quiet. Swish, swish, soon the tranquility was broken. From the distance, a huge iron-armored ship tore apart the space and flew over. On the iron-armored ship stood hundreds of warriors in black armors with weapons in their hands. They were filled with killing intent, which ruined the tranquility. At the front of the group stood a skinny old man. He had a pair of rat-like eyes and a goatee. His eyes were squinting, which made them look smaller. He stared at the small island in front of him with a smile on his face. When the people nearby saw the smile on his face, they felt a chill run down their spines. The most horrifying thing at the Yu family was Yu Huashan's bulging eyes and Yulin, the think tank of the Yu family, smiling like this. The Blood Evil Island was right in front of them. The scouts of the Yu family had found out that Lu Li and the Lu family were all on the Blood Evil Island. Even though Yulin didn't know why Lu Li didn't run away and why he was waiting for death at the Blood Evil Island, he knew that Lu Li and the Lu family were about to die. The old man of Heaven Prison and Bai Shi were about to die. Nobody could stop him from killing Lu Li and destroying the Blood Evil Island. Lu Li. This was the shame of Yu Luan's life. He was the culprit that disgraced the Yu family. Today, he would wash away this shame on behalf of himself and the Yu family. He would make the Yu family proud again at the northern desert. How should I kill Lu Li later? Yu Luan thought of hundreds of ways to die. The smile on his face was getting brighter. Whoosh! A noise came from the left, interrupting Yu Luan's thoughts. A warrior flew out from the sea and landed on the iron-armored ship. He got down on one knee, looked at Yu Luan, and said, "Lord Lu, something is wrong." All the warriors of the Killers of Seven Island were killed. What? The powerful warriors of the Yu family changed their expressions. Even though they were not from the Yu family, there were several warriors of the Fate Wheel realm leading the team. Who could kill them? Did Lu Li and Hunchback Tian go there? Whoosh! Before they could digest the shocking news, another scout rushed over from the right. He boarded the iron-armored ship and immediately reported, "Lord Lu, the Sundown Island was wiped out." The smile on Yu Luan's face froze. He and the other two Eternal Realm warriors of the Yu family looked at each other with a hint of seriousness in their eyes. Was there a powerful warrior of the Eternal Realm on the Goddown Island? A slight air-piercing noise came from the front. Yu Luan and the powerful warriors of the Yu family felt their hearts sink. More bad news? Everyone looked ahead and saw a gust of wind drifting over. Next, a figure condensed on the surface of a lake in front of them. This person actually looked like a willow leaf floating in the water. Enemy attack. All the warriors of the Yu family acted as if they were facing a great enemy. The person who came was too fast, so fast that many people did not know when he appeared. Yu Luan and the other two also took out their weapons. One of them even had his lower abdomen lit up, ready to release his fate wheel. Hundreds of pairs of eyes locked onto the mysterious person who had just arrived. The reason why they called it a mysterious person was because this person's face could not be seen clearly. Even when Yu Luan and the other two used their psychic power to check, they could only see a blur. Yu Luan forced himself to calm down. He looked at the mysterious person and asked, "Who are you?" The mysterious person spoke. His voice was hoarse and low, clearly not the original voice. "It doesn't matter who I am. What matters is that you are all going to die. The moment you offended Lu Li, the Yu family was doomed to perish." Lu Li? Yu Luan squinted even more. He stepped back, waved his hand, and said, "Kill him." Whoosh, 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 hundreds of warriors of the Yu family flew down from the iron-armored ship. Many warriors of the Soul Pond realm and the Fate Wheel realm released their Xian energy. This time, the warriors sent by the Yu family were at least at the Soul Pond realm. Hundreds of streaks of brilliant Xian energy pierced through the sky, tearing the space apart. Buzzing, buzzing. More than a dozen Fate Wheels were released and smashed at the mysterious person together with the sword and saber lights. If this person didn't dodge or couldn't dodge, he would be crushed into dust by the Xian energy and Fate Wheels. Swish, swish, with a flash, the mysterious person seemed to have disappeared on the spot. He turned into a gust of wind and moved around in the dense Xian energy being released. Two golden hooks appeared in his hands. He waved them in the air, making a shrill noise as if he was cutting open the entire space. Bang, bang, bang. Several muffled sounds came out. Several warriors of the Fate Wheel realm suddenly cried out in pain. Blood gushed out from their mouths, and they fell down in midair. Ow! Yu Luan and the other two warriors of the Eternal Realm were shocked, as if they had seen a ghost. Average warriors couldn't tell, but the three of them could clearly feel that the golden hooks of the mysterious person had cracked open several fate wheels of the first and second layer. The mysterious person was so fast. He moved around in the air, and the golden hooks moved on the fate wheels one by one. Those fate wheels that were as hard as heaven-grade Xian artifact were cracked open by him with one hook. Ridiculous. Fate wheels were so hard. How could he crack them so easily? Even if the pair of hooks were legendary Xian artifacts of the holy grade, they couldn't be so sharp. Bang, bang, bang. The mysterious person dashed into the crowd. The hundreds of warriors couldn't even see him clearly. All they saw was rays of golden light. Their bodies exploded one after another. Their bodies fell down from the sky. In the time for a few breaths, more than a dozen were killed. All the warriors of the Yu family were scared. Was this a man or a ghost? How could they attack when they couldn't even see him? Seeing the bodies of the Yu family warriors exploding one after another, all the warriors of the Yu family felt fear from the depth of their souls. Many of them couldn't help but run to all directions. Nobody wanted to die, not to mention dying without knowing why. Back off! Featherman shouted, and a portion of the cultivators who had been frightened hurriedly flew downwards. The two warriors of the Eternal Realm next to Yulin all had their fate wheels in their abdomens. One of them had a 6-layered fate wheel, and the other had an 8-layered fate wheel. The two of them flew onto their fate wheels. One of them had a mark of fire on his neck, and the other had a mark of sun on his neck. One of them held a saber, and the other a huge axe. They controlled their fate wheels and flew forward. Swish, the mysterious man didn't even look at the two. He turned into a gust of wind and dashed toward the place with the most warriors of the Yu family. His body continuously flickered, and golden light continuously shone. Every breath of time, someone's body would explode. The speed at which he killed was simply too fast. Back off, back off! The two elders of the Eternal Realm shouted. They couldn't attack the mysterious man when he dashed into the crowd of the Yu family. They had to keep yelling. Wheel of Burning. The elder of the Eternal Realm, with a mark of fire on his neck, released his bloodline skill. Balls of fire on his neck went into the fate wheel. The fate wheel started to spin rapidly, and the outside of the fate wheel was burning. The fate wheel turned into a wheel of fire. The temperature of the fire was so high that the air around it was curling up. Go to hell, the elder of the Eternal Realm of the Yu family shouted. The wheel of fire whooshed over and crashed into the mysterious man. He didn't care about the warriors of the Yu family around. Wheel of Burning. The mysterious man suddenly appeared on the spot. He looked at the flying wheel of fire and sneered. How could such a small skill be worthy of such a domineering name? Open your eyes and see what a powerful bloodline skill is. P.S. I wasn't feeling well last night, so I didn't stay up late. That's why I only wrote one chapter. Of course, it didn't mean that I wouldn't update today and I wouldn't update less. Let's change the time. From now on, I'll update at 6 p.m. every day. Chapter 267. A streak of black light glowed on the mysterious man's neck. However, it was so blurry that nobody could tell what kind of bloodline mark it was. Black light? Is it a black mark? Standing on the deck, Yu Luan suddenly had a bad feeling. What did a black bloodline mark mean? It meant an 8th rank bloodline. 7th rank bloodlines were the most powerful at the Northern Desert. There had never been an 8th rank bloodline in history. If this man had 8th rank bloodline, then he was definitely not from the Northern Desert. Whoosh! The mysterious man moved. He dashed toward the fate wheel in a straight line. He was so fast that all the warriors of the Soul Pond realm and Fate Wheel realm could not see him clearly. Only Yuluan and the other two warriors could use psychic power to sense him. The Fate Wheel was flying in the air, stirring up a gust of wind. There seemed to be a man moving around the Fate Wheel, but many people were not sure because they could not see clearly. What? Yuluan and the other two warriors were shocked. They could all sense the mysterious man. They could tell that the mysterious man was moving around the Fate Wheel. When the Fate Wheel moved, he would move as well. When the Fate Wheel rotated one round, he rotated twice. How fast was the Fate Wheel? The mysterious man's speed had reached an unimaginable level. The reason he was moving around the Fate Wheel was to show the three his bloodline skill and his amazing speed. Noble Lord Realm? No, not even the family patriarch of the Z family could be this fast. This man's speed is definitely at the human sovereign realm. Yuluan thought quickly, trying to figure out the man's speed. The conclusion he came up with made him desperate. Yuluan even lost the will to fight. He knew that all the Yu family warriors were going to die today. No one could escape. His speed was comparable to the human sovereign realm. Who could run away? Who could be a match for him? Speed, strength, defense. When one reached a certain level in any aspect, one could have horrifying abilities. Is it really an 8th rank bloodline? Yu Luan's eyes flickered. 8th rank bloodlines were rare even at the Central Plains. Families or races that had 8th rank bloodlines could be counted on one's fingers. Swish, the mysterious man moved around the Fate Wheel for a bit and suddenly flew toward the Eternal Realm Warrior of the Yu family. The Eternal Realm Warrior of the Yu family hurriedly controlled the Fate Wheel to fly back to protect himself. However, this man was twice faster than the Fate Wheel. How could the Fate Wheel be faster than him? An air-piercing sound rang out. A ghostly shadow flashed past the Yu family's Eternal Realm expert. Then, the Yu family's Eternal Realm expert's head flew up. He had just raised his saber and did not have the time to attack. It's over. The other elder of the Yu family also did not have the urge to attack. This person's speed was too terrifying. Even a peak, imperishable realm martial practitioner would not be able to withstand a single blow from him, much less their meager strength. This was like a rabbit encountering an eagle on a grassland that stretched as far as the eye could see. They simply could not block it, nor could they escape. Rip! The mysterious man rushed towards him. The man's eyes flickered as he put away the giant axe in his hand. At the same time, he raised his hands and said, "Sir, I surrender." The ghostly shadow floated past him, and he felt a chill on his neck. Then he felt his head flying off. He even saw a pillar of blood spurting out from his neck. His last thought was that he regretted joining the Yu clan's outer hall. Another imperishable realm martial artist was killed. Yulun had lost all hope. He didn't even run away. He was only at the middle stage of the Eternal Realm. The iron-armored ship was even slower. There was no one left to stop the mysterious man's massacre. A jade talisman appeared in his hand, and he crushed it. The only thing he could do was to warn Yu Huashan and tell him that they were all dead. That mysterious man didn't leave to kill Yuluan. Instead, he dashed towards the other Yu family warriors and started another round of killing. As far as Yuluan could see, the bodies of the Yu family warriors exploded one after another. Many people screamed and rushed into the lake. Some Fate Wheel realm warriors flew away in fear on their Fate Wheels. Some even ran towards the iron-armored ship. How could a group of turtles escape from an eagle? The answer is obvious. In the time it took for half an incense stick to burn, no one except Yuluan could escape. Even the scouts hiding nearby were all killed. Swish! The mysterious man turned into a gust of wind and gathered on the deck. He stood 3 feet in front of Yuluan. That pair of golden hooks were still dripping with blood. The blood dripped on the deck, making a frightening sound. Yuluan stared at the blurry face of the mysterious man and said, "Cyan, Phoenix race?" As the brains, Yuluan knew more. He was a man of his caliber. The Cyan Phoenix race was a race from the Central Plains. It disappeared thousands of years ago, but Yuluan had read some information about the Cyan Phoenix race. As the fastest race in the world, the Cyan Phoenix race had some obvious features, such as 8th rank bloodline, which was rare. It was not surprising that Yuluan could figure it out. The blurry face of the mysterious man became clearer and clearer, revealing his spirited face. His pointy ears were also revealed. Yuluan nodded and said, "You really are a warrior of the Cyan Phoenix race. What I don't understand is, why are you helping Lu Li? You have good eyes." Yicha smiled lightly and explained, "I am not helping him. I am just carrying out his orders, because Lu Li is the Saint Lord of the Cyan Phoenix race." Yuluan was shocked. Yicha wasn't in the mood to chat with him. He said coldly, "Do you want to destroy your spirit sea yourself, or do you want me to do it for you?" Yuluan was shocked again. Yicha didn't want to kill him. He could rebuild his spirit sea after it was destroyed. He wouldn't be able to fight for a while, but as long as he was alive, there was hope. Yuluan looked at Yicha and slapped at his abdomen decisively. Blood gushed out from his mouth. His spirit sea was smashed. Once his spirit sea was destroyed, he couldn't use Xian energy nor Fate Wheel. He had lost his combat abilities. Yicha nodded. The ring on his hand glowed as he put away the iron-armored ship. He grabbed Yuluan and rushed towards the Blood Evil Island. Yicha was fast. In the time for dozens of breaths, he had arrived at the Blood Evil Island. He dashed into the Blood Evil Fortress. His face became blurry again. He threw Yuluan to the ground and said in a deep voice, "I have killed all the warriors of the Yu family. This is their leader." Swish, swish, swish. Lu, Yi, and the others' expressions changed as if they had seen a ghost. Yicha had only gone out for the time for 2 or 3 incense sticks to burn, and he had killed all the warriors of the Yu family. He had captured the powerful leader? Mingyu looked at Yuluan and then at Yicha. Once again, the look in his eyes changed. But he didn't say anything. He just looked at Lu Li. Lu Li was not surprised at all. Yicha had reached the Noble Lord realm, had an 8th rank bloodline, and had learned profound meaning. If he couldn't even kill several warriors of the Eternal Realm, then the Cyan Phoenix race wouldn't deserve its reputation. Lu Li looked at Yuluan and asked, "What is your name, your realm, and what is your position in the Yu family?" Yuluan recognized Lu Li as soon as he came in. He had seen Lu Li's portrait many times. He looked at Mingyu on Lu Li's back and felt he couldn't understand Lu Li. After some thoughts, Yuluan answered honestly, "I am Yuluan, a patriarch of the internal clan of the Yu family. I am at the middle stage of the Eternal Realm." Another uproar came from the hall. For the Lu family, even warriors of the Fate Wheel realm were powerful, let alone the Eternal Realm. Lu Li raised his hand to silence the noise in the hall. He nodded and said, "Where is your family patriarch? How many warriors are here? How many teams?" Yuluan didn't hide anything. He said, "Family patriarch has gone to the Heaven Prison Island. I am in charge here. There are 6 teams, more than 8,000 warriors in total." Lu Li looked at Yicha and asked, "How many teams have we killed?" Yicha answered, 2 teams, 3 including the Yu family. Ulfa will be able to get rid of everyone in an hour at most. Chapter 268. Lu Li asked again, "Yuluan, how many Noble Lord Realm warriors of your 3 kingdoms are here?" Yuluan thought for a while and said, "Can I live if I say it?" Yuluan was a smart man. Smart men were usually afraid of death. They would weigh the pros and cons. If he would die even if he told them, then what was the point? Lu Li didn't say anything. He would kill Yuluan, but it was impossible for him to let Yuluan go. But if he killed Yuluan, Yuluan might not tell him. After a while, Lu Li said, "I will not kill you, but you must become my slave. I will plant soul worms in your head, and you will serve me for 100 years. You are at the middle stage of the Eternal Realm. 100 years is nothing to you. If you don't want to, then kill yourself. You have 2 choices." Yuluan squinted. He stared at Lu Li and said, "Why should I trust you? What if you break the promise?" Lu Li sneered and said, "Do you think I will like you, a warrior of the Eternal Realm?" With that said, Lu Li looked at Yicha. The latter's chi and energy spread out, suffocating everyone. When Yicha restrained his chi and energy, Yuluan exhaled and said, "Noble Lord Realm." Since Lu Li had warriors of the Noble Lord Realm working for him, then Yuluan wouldn't like Lu Li. Yulin thought about it and said, 100 years is fine, 300 years is fine. I only have one request. Lu Li waved his hand and said, say it. Yulin bowed to Lu Li and said, young Master Lu, it is the Yu family's fault. We are blind to have offended you. No matter what happens in the end, I beg you to spare the Yu family. Spare? Lu Yi and Patriarch 9 were stunned. Lu Li wanted to spare the Yu family? Could Lu Li wipe out the Yu family? Was this mysterious old man that powerful? Of course, but Yu Luan was sure of this. Yi Cha alone could wipe out the Yu family, let alone Mingyu. Yulin knew that Yu Huashan didn't know who Yi Cha was. Also, judging from Yi Cha's words, he was not the only one of the Cyan Phoenix race working for Lu Li. The Cyan Phoenix race was one of the most powerful races of the Central Plains. Many people turned to Lu Li. After some thoughts, Lu Li said, I can give you a way out, but only a way out. Lu Li's meaning was clear. Yu Huashan and the others could not be let go. Lu Li only promised that he wouldn't send someone to destroy the Yu family. Yulin was satisfied with the answer. Yi Cha said Lu Li was the Saint Lord of the Cyan Phoenix race. Yulin didn't know how many powerful warriors the Cyan Phoenix clan had, but a starving camel was still bigger than a horse. It would be too easy to destroy the Yu family. There are 5 noble Lord Realm warriors here. The king of the Heaven Frigid Kingdom, brother 3 of the Yi family, the chief patriarch of the Z family, the family patriarch of the Qi family, a 5th-rank family of the Heaven Frigid Kingdom, and our family patriarch. The 5 noble Lord Realm warriors should have gone to the Heaven Prison Island, and there are more than 20 of the Eternal Realm. Yu Luan told the old man and the young man the whole story in great detail. All the experts that had come this time were listed, including the number of troops from each side, which family was leading the troops, and how many experts were there. When Yu Luan finished, Lu Li asked with curiosity, Yu Luan, how do you know so much? Yu Luan smiled with pride and said, the expedition to the Thousand Island Lake was planned by us. I planned the Haunted Hollow battle myself. My power in the Yu family is second only to the family patriarch. Oh, Lu Li didn't expect that he would capture a big shot this time. He nodded, looked at Yi Cha, and said, implant the soul worms in him. Also, help him recover his strength. Yi Cha grabbed Yu Luan with one hand and left. Lu Li closed his eyes to rest, waiting for 4th patriarch of the Cyan Phoenix race to come back. Mingyu was a man of few words. Lu Yi and Patriarch 9 dared not to ask too many questions. After waiting for an hour, 2 cool breezes blew over, and 2 silhouettes condensed in the main hall. Lu Yi and the others glanced at them, and they couldn't tell who they were. Both of them were wearing sackcloth, and their faces were blurry. It was impossible to tell who they were. Mingyu was the same. His psychic power was strong, but he couldn't see the faces of the 2. It must be some kind of powerful secret skill. The 2 bowed, and one of them reported, young master, all the enemies have been killed. Very good, beautifully done. Lu Li nodded. He turned to Mingyu and said, let's go and have a look at the God-Down City. The 2 of you guard this area. If any enemies come near, kill them immediately. Lu Li then looked at Lu Yi and said, stay here and don't move. Yes. Lu Yi and the others took the order. Mingyu took Lu Li and ran towards the God-Down City. Mingyu didn't use his fate bead. He kicked the water with his legs and moved horizontally as if he was flying in the water. Outside the dock of the God-Down Island, Pei-In and the others were still gathered together, but they were confused. The scouts found that there were bodies everywhere around the blood-evil island. The iron-armored ships of the Yu family disappeared, and so did the powerful warriors of the Yu family. Many fate wheels sank to the bottom of the lake, scaring the scouts who went to check on the situation. At the moment, Pei-In and the others still couldn't figure it out. They thought they got the wrong information, so they were sending someone to check again. There were so many fate wheels, including a 6-layered one and an 8-layered one. Those were warriors of the middle stage and the later stage of the Eternal Realm. Warriors of the Eternal Realm were killed. This was so shocking that Pei AI and the others couldn't believe it. Whoosh, from a distance came a man in a fast speed. Everyone was on high alert. After a while, they realized it was 2 people, Lu Li and Mingyu. Lu Li, Payan, and the others frowned. Why was Lu Li here instead of at the Blood Evil Island? Was it because the Yu family couldn't hold on any longer? Or were the powerful warriors of the Yu family really killed? Anyways, Payan and the others bowed to Lu Li with respect after he got on the island. Lu Li glanced over and said indifferently, "Go back to the city." Payan sent a message to the Bai family at once. "Tell Bai Qiuxue and Bai Xiaoshuang to come here." Go back to the city? Looking at the calmness on Lu Li's face, Payan's old body trembled as he recalled the information he had received. He asked in a trembling voice, "Island owner, the scout said that all the warriors of the Yu family are dead. Is it true?" The others looked at Lu Li with excitement, waiting for him to reveal the truth. Lu Li nodded and said, "Yes, all the warriors of the Yu family are dead. Not only the Yu family, all the more than 8,000 warriors that came to attack the God-Down Island are dead. I sent someone to kill them. Is there a problem?" "What?" Everyone was in an uproar. Just now, they were ready to risk their lives and kill as many as they could. Many even scolded Lu Li for being a coward and saying that he could not be counted on. They didn't expect that Lu Li would send someone to kill all the enemies quietly and in such a fast speed. Lu Li didn't have time to waste with them. He waved his hand and said, "What are you waiting for? Go back to the city and send a message to the Bai family. Ask them to send Bai Qiuxue and her sister here. If we are late, the Bai Emperor Mountain will fall." Payan came to his senses. His expressions flickered. He asked Lu Li in a low voice, "It is okay to send the message, but will it attract the warriors of the Noble Lord Realm?" Ha. Chapter 269. Lu Li was not afraid of one or two Noble Lord Realm warriors. He had 3 Noble Lord Realm warriors on his side. Before the army arrived, 4th Patriarch of the Cyan Phoenix race made the breakthrough as well. Granted, he was not as powerful as Yicha, and he didn't learn any profound meaning. But Noble Lord Realm warriors of the Cyan Phoenix race were born to be more powerful than average ones. Previously, Lu Li only had Mingyu with him, so he only thought about protecting himself. He never thought about Bai Qiuxue and the twins. Now that he had the ability, he would help the twins. After all, they had done him a great favor. Not long ago, the twins risked their lives to go to the Yu Emperor's city. As for the Bai family, Lu Li couldn't help them. There must be many powerful warriors gathered at the Bai Emperor Mountain. Even if Lu Li were to bring Mingyu and Yicha there, he would only be courting death. There were 5 warriors of the Noble Lord Realm, and it was said that Du Zheng, the chief steward of the Heaven Punishing Auction House, was involved. He was the 2nd most powerful warrior on the Northern Desert Warlord list. Lu Li acknowledged the kindness of Bai Qiuxue and her sister, but not the Bai family. He didn't want to court his own death. Payan didn't know what was going on at the Heaven Prison City, so he didn't dare to send someone over. Luckily, the Pei family had been rooted at the Thousand Island Lake for hundreds of years. They had their own means. Soon, they sent someone over. Lu Li stayed at the God-Down City and closed the teleportation formation in the city. He also mobilized scouts from all the forces and families to spread out to gather information and wait for Yu Huashen to come. Yu Huashen was at the Heaven Prison City. Not only him, but Du Heng, the king of the Heaven Frigid Kingdom, Zi Huanyu, the chief patriarch of the Zi family, Yili, the 3rd son of the Yi family, and chief family patriarch of the Heaven Frigid Kingdom, Qi Tianhe, were all here. Du Xiling, Yi Yuhan, and Zi Lian were here as well. Apart from them, there were more than 30 warriors of the Eternal Realm and hundreds of warriors of the Fate Wheel Realm. All the powerful warriors were gathered at the Heaven Prison City to conquer the Bai Emperor Mountain and divide the wealth of the Bai family. The Bai family had controlled the Thousand Island Lake for more than 2,000 years and had accumulated a great amount of wealth. The 3 great royal clans didn't fancy any of the families on the Rank 4 Islands. Only the Bai family's mountain of wealth could move the 3 great royal clans. The 3 royal families' powerful warriors gathered together and fought their way in. After they conquered a 4th rank islands, they were teleported to the family. The transmission formation of the Heaven Prison City had been closed, but it had been opened 2 hours ago. The Bai family's Eternal Realm expert, who was monitoring the heaven-punishing auction house, was suddenly killed. Then, hundreds of martial artists appeared in the auction house. They occupied the square and took control of the teleportation formation. Then, they brought the three royal family experts over. Now it was very clear that Du Zheng, the supervisor of the auction house, had participated in the siege of the Old Man of Heaven prison. Of course, it was useless even if they knew. When the strong warriors of the three royal families teleported over, the Heaven prison city would have a new owner immediately. There were not many experts in the city to begin with, so they were easily suppressed. Buzz! The teleportation formation kept flashing as experts from the three nations were continuously teleported over. More than 20 warriors of the Eternal Realm had taken control of the Heaven prison city. Countless warriors of the Fate Wheel realm were flying around, suppressing those who dared to resist. Yu Huashan stood on the plaza, side by side with the other four noble Lord Realm warriors. The five of them looked to the north where the Bai Emperor Mountain was glowing. The Bai Emperor Mountain activated the mountain protection formation, but the five noble Lord Realm warriors didn't mind at all. No matter how strong the formation was, could it withstand the attacks of so many experts? Even if it couldn't be broken in a short period of time, the array needed energy to support it. When all the energy inside was used up, it would naturally break. Whoosh! A patriarch of the Yu family suddenly rushed over and whispered something to Yu Huashan's ear. A glint of coldness rose in Yu Huashan's eyes. He coldly shouted, "Really?" The patriarch of the Yu family reached out his hand and showed him a broken jade talisman. Yu Huashan looked even more gloomy. He angrily shouted, "Lu Li, I swear I will kill you." Yu Huashan's shout attracted the attention of people nearby. The chief patriarch of the Zi family, Zi Huanyu, asked with a frown, "Yu Huashan, what happened?" Yu Huashan suppressed his anger and said, "The army at the God-Down Island was wiped out. Yu Luan and the others were all killed." Du Heng, Zi Huanyu, Yi Li, and Qi Tianhe's eyes glowed with coldness. All the armies were doing well, except for the one at the God-Down Island. This time, they were going to wipe out all the warriors of the families of the Thousand Island Lake. Now that there was a gap, many warriors could escape. What if those warriors dashed out of the three nations and started killing? Lu Li of the God-Down Island, Du Xiling, Yi Yuhan, and Zi Lian were standing together with young disciples of the three royal families. They shouted and then began to discuss in a low voice. Lu Li was the talk of the northern desert recently. In the tomb of the Dragon King, he defeated the best disciples of the three nations and injured Du Xiling. Then, he broke into the Heaven Martial Kingdom and slapped the Yu family in the face. Lu Li was the main reason why this matter could be blown out of proportion. It was a foregone conclusion that all the warriors of the Thousand Island Lake would be wiped out. However, something unexpected happened to Lu Li. "Guys, let's attack the Bai Emperor Mountain first. I will go to the God-Down Island and cut off Lu Li's head in person." Yu Huashan said coldly and walked towards the teleportation formation with the powerful warriors of the Yu family. Du Heng and the others thought about it, but said nothing. After all, it was the warriors of the Yu family that died, not their families. Yu Huashan stepped into the teleportation formation with the three warriors of the Eternal Realm. However, the warriors guarding the teleportation formation didn't teleport after they released their Xian energy. Clearly, the teleportation formation at the God-Down Island was closed. Where is the nearest fourth-rank island to the God-Down City? Yu Huashan snorted and asked. Only fourth-rank islands had teleportation formations. Now that the teleportation formation at the God-Down City was closed, they had to teleport to nearby cities. Fire Island, one of them said. Yu Huashan nodded. The teleportation formation was activated again. This time, they were teleported successfully. "Uncle Yu, bring Lu Li back alive so I can vent my anger," Du Xiling suddenly said during the teleportation. Yu Huashan glanced over and nodded indifferently. The teleportation formation glowed, and Yu Huashan and the other three disappeared in it. There were many people on the Bai Emperor Mountain. Almost all the remaining powerful warriors of the Thousand Island Lake were gathered there. A huge, seven-colored shield covered the by Emperor Mountain like an upside-down transparent bowl. The seven-colored glare made the gloomy faces of the warriors standing on the by Emperor Mountain look awful. In the outdoor pavilion, Madame Yin, by Qiu Shue, and by Xia Shuang were sitting quietly, waiting for the moment of the war. Whoosh! A man rushed over from the distance. Chief Steward Bai walked over in strides with an old man of the Soul Pond realm. Outside of the pavilion, Chief Steward Bai came in alone to report, "Madam, the Pei family of the Goddown City has sent word to Lu Li." Lu Li said, "Let Madam send the two ladies over. He can protect them." Madame Yan's gloomy eyes lit up. Bai Qiushue and Bai Xia Shuang were surprised as well. Lu Li didn't run away. He even sent someone over to say he would protect them. Is it the Lu family? Madame Yan blushed. Apart from the Lu family, she couldn't think of how Lu Li could protect the twins. Her eyes flickered and she said coldly, "Send a message to Lu Li. Tell him to bring someone to the Bai Emperor Mountain. If he can help the Bai family this time, I, Bai Yin, will be willing to be his slave or maid." Chief Steward Bai left with the old man of the Soul Pond realm at once. That man had connections with the Pei family, so he could send a message to Pei En through special means. Madame Yin by Qiu Shue and by Xia Shuang waited in the outdoor pavilion with anxiety. Madame Yin couldn't sit still anymore. She paced up and down in the pavilion. After an hour, Chief Steward Bai came back with a bitter expression. He replied, "Lu Li said that he cannot protect the Bai Emperor Mountain with his own power. He can only protect the two ladies." Alas, the light in Madame Yan's eyes dimmed down. She waved her hand and said, "Then tell Lu Li that the army is at the foot of the mountain. The mountain protection formation is activated. Nobody can get out. Tell him to burn some joss paper money for us every year on this day." Chapter 270. Worship. There's a trace of fear and panic in Bai Xia Shuang's eyes. Bai Qiushue looked surprised. She stared at Madame Yin and said in a low voice, "Auntie, I don't think it's a good idea to deliver a message like this." Based on Bai Qiushue's understanding of Madame Yin wouldn't want to die with them. Instead, he would take her and Bai Xia Shuang to escape into the small world. If so, why did she ask Lu Li to worship them? Wasn't this forcing Lu Li to court death at the Bai Emperor Mountain? Based on Bai Qiushue's understanding of Lu Li, if he could help the Bai family, he would have come a long time ago. Madame Yin laughed mockingly and said, "Don't worry, kiddo. Lu Li is not in love with you. He won't do anything stupid. Even if he wants to mess around, Mingyu will definitely not allow it." Bai Qiushue still felt a little uneasy, but Chief Steward Bai had already brought people to pass the message. Even if she wanted to stop them now, she couldn't. Chi, an ear-piercing sound came from the south, attracting Autumn Snow's attention. Madame Yin took a look inside. What will come will come. One by one, the fate wheels flew across the sky. Most of the fate wheels were 1, 2, and 3 layered. There were at least 20 to 30 fate wheels that were more than 4 layered. There were also 2 iron-armored ships. On one of them stood Du Hong, Yi Li, Zi Huanyu, and Qi Tianhe. On the other iron-armored ship stood Zi Lian, Du Xiling, Yi Yuhan, and other young masters and young ladies. There were more people on this side, at least 100. They were all geniuses from various clans, and it was obvious that they were here to gain experience and learn. This battle was to be recorded in the history of the Northern Desert, and there was no danger this time. With such a good opportunity, the various clans naturally wanted their genius disciples to come over to learn and gain valuable experience. In the future, these geniuses would become the mainstay of the various families. This kind of thing was the easiest for them to grow. The Heaven Prison City had been completely controlled. There were not many strong warriors in the city. The strong warriors were all in the Bai Emperor Mountain. Therefore, after the 4 noble Lord Realm warriors confirmed that everything was fine, they ordered all warriors above the Fate Wheel Realm to go to the Bai Emperor Mountain. The Bai Emperor Mountain was extremely steep. Normally, people would use the teleportation formation to get in and out. Now that the teleportation formation must have been closed, warriors of the Soul Pond realm who could not fly were useless. What was more, the Emperor Mountain had activated the Mountain Protection Formation. Attacks from warriors of the Soul Pond realm would be no different from scratching an itch. There were 700 to 800 warriors of the Fate Wheel realm, more than 30 of the Eternal realm, and 4 of the Noble Lord realm. This was enough to wipe out any of the 3 kingdoms. Of course, not all the powerful warriors of the 3 kingdoms were here. The family patriarch of the Z family didn't come. Instead, he sent his chief patriarch, Zi Huanyu, and 2 noble Lord Realm warriors of the 5th rank families didn't come as well. Nearly 800 people released their fate wheels and flew to the top of the Emperor Mountain. Their 7-colored fate wheels were huge, and the warriors' chi and chi were at their peak. The atmosphere in the Emperor Mountain was extremely depressing. This mountain-protecting array shone with rainbow light, but it was translucent. Sounds and auras from the outside could all be transmitted in. There was a plaza in front of the castles on the Emperor Mountain, which was crowded with people. The remaining powerful warriors of the Thousand Island Lake were all here. Looking at the dense mass of enemies in the sky, everyone's expressions became extremely solemn. Could this mountain guarding formation withstand the attacks of so many experts? Du Heng, the king of the Heaven Frigid Kingdom, was the most powerful warrior here, and also the one with the highest status. He waved his hand and shouted, "Attack!" Swish! Hundreds of streaks of Xian energy whooshed down in an instant. All kinds of sword and saber lights, golden bolts, and black beams of light tore apart the sky and smashed on the colorful mountain protection formation. Boom, 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 boom. The mountain protection formation was glaring and explosions were happening everywhere. The colorful light on the mountain protection formation suddenly became dazzling. Warriors on the plaza were tensed up. Some of them even wanted to dodge out of instinct. But soon, they came to their senses. This was because the attacks had all exploded in mid-air, like fireworks blooming in the sky. The entire mountain-protecting array had not even trembled a bit. So powerful. Bai Xiaoshuang looked at the colorful shield in the sky and exclaimed. Madame Yin said with pride, "This is built by our forefather himself. Our forefather's greatest strength is not his combat abilities, but his inhibition formations. This formation has been built for more than 1,000 years. It can absorb Xian Qi in heaven and earth and transform it into energy. There's too much energy in it. Those warriors can't break it even if they attack it for 10 days or half a month. Our forefather was so powerful." Bai Qiuxue exclaimed to herself. She looked sad and murmured, "What a pity. He still passed away." "Don't be sad." Madame Yin patted Bai Qiuxue's shoulder and said, "Our forefather's life is running out. We, the young generation, should blame ourselves for not working hard. Our forefather gave us more than 2,000 years, and the Bai family only has Bai Shi." From a sky came a cold snort. Du Heng waved his hand and said, "Let's attack together. I don't believe that we cannot break this turtle shell." Okay. Yili stared at Madame Yin with an evil glint in his eyes. He flew out. A bead the size of a thumb appeared in his abdomen. As soon as the bead appeared, it glowed brightly, attracting many people's attention. At that moment, the entire world seemed to have disappeared, and the only thing left was this golden bead. Bead of life. Many people shouted in surprise. Bead of life was the symbol of the Noble Lord realm. It was a bead formed by 9 fate wheels. Each fate wheel was formed by countless treasures, but the bead of life was formed by 9 fate wheels. It was not hard to imagine how powerful the bead of life was. Buzzing. Du Heng's abdomen glowed as a bead of life the size of an egg appeared. This bead of life overshadowed the glow of Yi Li's bead of life. What was more, this bead of life was surrounded by thunderbolts and emitted a horrifying qi and energy, as if this bead could destroy everything. Zi Huanyu and Qi Tianhe released their beads of life as well. At Du Heng's shout, for beads of life smashed at the colorful shield. At the same time, Countless fate wheels turned into meteorites and crashed into the mountain defense formation with the sound of the wind. Inside the Emperor Mountain, many people's souls were trembling. 4 beads of life and so many fate wheels. Even a mountain hundreds of times bigger than the Emperor Mountain would be cracked in an instant. Would the mountain protection formation be able to withstand it? Boom, boom, boom. A series of earth-shaking noises came out. Everyone in the Heaven Prison City, not far away, could hear it clearly. It was as if a mountain was collapsing and the earth was being split open. It was horrifying. The colorful shield glowed brightly. At that moment, it was as if the sun had exploded. Everyone on the ground was blinded. Many people were trembling. They held their weapons tightly, ready to rush out and fight with their lives as soon as the formation was broken. However, what stunned Du Hong and the others was that after the glow, the formation didn't tremble at all. It was unbreakable. Ha ha, Madame Yin sneered. Du Hong, Zi Huanyu, Yi Li, Qi Tianhe, your attacks are too weak. You want to break through the mountain guarding Grand Array with that kind of attack power? Dream on. I suggest you go and invite Du Zheng here. He might be able to break it as soon as he comes. Chapter 271. The Emperor Mountain was engulfed in flames of war, and so were other places. The entire Thousand Island Lake was covered in blood. There were fights everywhere, or massacres everywhere. All the powerful warriors of the Thousand Island Lake were gathered at the Emperor Mountain. The rest were weak, some at the Soul Pond realm at best. Occasionally, there would be 1 or 2 at the Fate Wheel realm. However, the allied forces of the 3 kingdoms that invaded the Thousand Island Lake were all led by warriors at the Fate Wheel realm. There were 3 or 4 at the Fate Wheel realm in every team. Therefore, apart from the Goddown City, all the other directions were massacres. The 3 royal families hated the Thousand Island Lake to their bones. There was no instruction from above to enter the Thousand Island Lake. No instruction meant that they could do whatever they wanted. Burning, killing, robbing, raping, pillaging, whatever they wanted to do, whatever felt good. Warriors of the northern desert fought every day. There was anger hidden in their hearts. How could they miss such a chance to vent their anger? If there were no powerful warriors to restrain an army, it would be a catastrophe for the civilians. This might seem cruel and inhumane, but this was reality. This was war. Such things happened frequently at the northern desert and in the world. Survival of the fittest, survival of the fittest. This was the law of survival at the northern desert. The Goddown Island was quiet. All the enemies were killed. Yi Shao, the 4th patriarch of the Cyan Phoenix race, killed them all by himself. It was so easy for a warrior of the Noble Lord realm to defeat thousands of warriors of low realms. Lu Li stayed at the Goddown City and lived in the original backyard. He didn't sleep, rest, or cultivate. All he could think of was the beautiful faces of Bai Qiuxue and Bai Xiaoshuang. He received a message from Madame Yin. Madame Yin asked him to burn some joss paper money for them every year. This made Lu Li uncomfortable, but there was nothing he could do. Some favors must be repaid. The thing was, Lu Li didn't have the ability to do so. Bringing Mingyu, Yi Cha, and Yi Shao to their deaths? That would be unfair to Mingyu and the other 2. In order to help 2 friends, he killed 3 loyal subordinates who followed him. Lu Li couldn't do such a thing. Strength, I am not powerful enough. I am too weak. Lu Li sighed. For a long time, he had thought that his cultivation speed was fast enough and that his abilities were incredible. Now, it seemed that it was still not enough. It was still too low. Without strength, he could only watch Bai Qiuxue and Bai Xiaoshuang being killed. Xiao, a slight voice came from the outside. Mingyu flew in like a ghost and reported. Our scouts reported that Yu Huashan is here with his men. They took iron-armored ships from the Fire Island. They should be here in 3 hours at most. Lu Li stood up and said after some thoughts, well, send a message to Yi Shao to find out the specific situation. I think there are many powerful warriors. Night Owl? It was the first time Mingyu had heard of this name. Lu Li came to his senses and said, one of the 2 from the Blood Evil Island. Send someone to Lu Yi and ask her to pass on the message. All right. Mingyu floated out and found Pan. The latter quickly arranged for scouts to send a message over. Soon, Mingyu came back and stood next to Lu Li. After a moment of silence, he asked, "Young master, who are they? I don't think they are normal humans." "You are right." Lu Li smiled and said, "But I cannot tell you who they are. I promise them that I will not tell anyone. I will tell you when the time is right. All you need to know is that they are absolutely loyal." Mingyu rolled his eyes and asked, "Loyal to you? Or to your father?" "Me?" Lu Li smiled lightly and asked back, "What? You don't believe that I have the ability?" Mingyu answered honestly, "I do have some doubts. Young master, you are talented and you have many special abilities, but it is not enough for you to make 2 warriors of the noble Lord Realm surrender to you. Powerhouses all have dignity and pride. If there wasn't a special reason, such a situation wouldn't have happened." Lu Li was not angry. Instead, he liked Mingyu's honesty. Lu Li nodded and said, "There are special reasons. As a matter of fact, I myself feel it is strange. Never mind. Let's get ready for the fight." Lu Li walked out with Mingyu. Pei En and the others in the hall were standing there uneasily. After all, Yu Huashan was here in person. Could Lu Li's men stop him? Lu Li didn't say anything after he came in. He just waited quietly. Yi Xiao was fast. In an hour at most, there should be news. As expected, after an hour, a shadow suddenly floated in from outside, which startled Pei En and the others. How come no one noticed that a person had come in? Lu Li waved his hand and said, "It's my men." "Patriarch 4, what is it?" Lu Li didn't call Yi Xiao by his name in case others could infer information from his name. Yi Xiao bowed and said in a hoarse voice, "Young master, there's a warrior at the middle stage of the Noble Lord Realm, 3 of the Eternal Realm, and more than a dozen of the Fate Wheel Realm. According to their speed, they should arrive here in about an hour." Yi Xiao and Yi Cha didn't call Lu Li Saint Lord but Young Master. In this way, others could not infer their relationship, and they could hide a lot of information. "There are no other Noble Lord Realm warriors nearby. Did Yu Huashan see you?" Lu Li asked. Yi Xiao bowed and said, "Only one Noble Lord Realm warrior. I'm sure. He didn't see me, and I'm sure of that." "Good." Lu Li looked at the map hanging on the wall. Pointing to an island to the south of the God-Down Island, he said, "Let's do it here." Patriarch 4, go back and ask your family patriarch to come here. We will wait for Yu Huashan here. Yi Xiao looked at the map and said with hesitation, "Young master, you don't have to go. Leave it to me and my family patriarch. We will take their heads. It's okay. With you here, Yu Huashan can't hurt me." Lu Li smiled and said, "Also, this is a great chance to learn. How can I miss it?" "All right." Yi Xiao looked at Mingyu. He wasn't too worried considering Yu Huashan's realm. He flew away in a breeze. Lu Li looked at Mingyu, and they walked out together. Pei En followed him and said, "Island owner, we will go with you." The others came to their senses. How could they miss such a great fight? Also, Lu Li's men could kill warriors of the Noble Lord Realm. At this moment, Lu Li had become someone to rely on in their hearts. How could they not cling to him? "Piss off." Lu Li glanced at them coldly and said, "Stay in the city and don't move. Don't even send out scouts nearby. Don't blame me if they are killed by mistake." Lu Li didn't want to leak any information about the Cyan Phoenix race. Naturally, he couldn't let these people go and watch. Lu Li knew very well what kind of people they were. They could sell him out at any time. "Let's go." He glanced at Mingyu. Mingyu grabbed him with one hand, and with a few leaps, they were out of the God-Down City. Soon, they disappeared from everyone's sight. Chapter 272. To the northwest of the Sundown Island was a nameless island. It was too small for people to live on. There was nothing on the island except some gravel and some weeds. When Lu Li and Mingyu arrived, Yi Xiao was already waiting for them. His speed was horrifying, but Yi Xiao was nowhere to be seen. He must have gone to explore nearby. "Young master." Yi Xiao bowed. Mingyu cupped his fist to Yi Xiao after some thoughts. Yi Xiao nodded back. The leader of the 5 freaks of the Thousand Island Lake had a strange temper. Mingyu cupped his fist to Yi Xiao meant that he recognized Yi Xiao's power. Lu Li looked to the south and waited quietly. Mingyu and Yi Xiao were standing behind him. One of them had a blurry face, and the other was wearing a ghost mask. It was hard to tell their expressions. Whoosh! After the time for 2 incense sticks to burn, a breeze came from afar and stopped in front of Luli. Yi Xiao came back. He cupped his fists and said, "He is here. He will be here in the time for 3 incense sticks to burn." Okay. Luli nodded. He looked calm, and his soul was not disturbed at all. It seemed that the fight that was about to happen was of the Soul Pond realm, not the Noble Lord realm. A glint of admiration appeared in Ming Yu's eyes, even though the Lu family had the absolute advantage. That being said, Luli was only 16 years old, and he was at the Soul Pond realm. How could he be so calm in a fight of this level? The son of Lu Renhuang was really something. Time moved on. After the time for 2 incense sticks to burn, there came a noise from the south. Then a black that was getting bigger and bigger. An iron-armored ship was coming. Yu Huashan was standing at the front of the iron-armored ship with 3 warriors of the Eternal Realm and more than a dozen warriors of the Fate Wheel Realm behind him. He wanted to bring more warriors with him, but there were only 3 warriors of the Eternal Realm left in the Yu family. He was tall and strong. Standing on the deck, he was like a human-shaped beast, emitting an inexplicable sense of ferocity. His eyes were filled with rage and killing intent. He decided to himself that he would not only kill Lu Li, but also everyone within the sphere of influence of the God Down Island, leaving no one alive. The iron-armored ship reached its top speed. Soon it arrived. It wasn't heading towards the island. It should be flying past the island more than a mile away. Yu Huashan's perception was powerful. When they were about 3 miles away from the island, Yu Huashan glared at the island. After he vaguely sensed 4 figures, he immediately waved his hand and said, "Stop." A warrior at the Fate Wheel Realm stopped the battleship. Yu Huashan looked at the island in confusion. It was too far away for him to sense the realms of the 4. He only knew that there were 4 of them. "Restrain your aura," Lu Li said in a low voice, and then shouted, "Clan leader Yu, I am Lu Li, and I am here to welcome you." Wow, the more than a dozen people on the iron-armored ship became noisy. How dare Lu Li show up here? And he even came to greet them? If Lu Li wasn't crazy, then he must have something up his sleeves. Yu Huashan's eyes were filled with ferocity. He waved his hand and said, "Come closer. Brother 6, go and check around." Xiao. An Eternal Realm warrior got off the iron-armored ship and flew to the nearby areas to gather information. The iron-armored ship moved closer slowly. Yu Huashan used his psychic power to check on Lu Li and the 3 behind him. When the iron-armored ship was about a mile away, Yu Huashan finally had a clear look. The murderous intent in him grew stronger. It was indeed Lu Li. He had seen Lu Li's portrait many times. His grandson, Yu Lingxiu, was killed by Lu Li. But Yu Huashan didn't act rashly because there were 3 people behind Lu Li. One of them was Ming Yu. The ghost mask could not hide from warriors of the Noble Lord realm. As for the other 2, he couldn't see their faces clearly. Also, he couldn't tell their realms. If he couldn't see their faces clearly, he could explain it with powerful secret skills. But it was scary that he couldn't even tell their realms. What if there were 2 human sovereign realm warriors? They can't be human sovereign realm warriors. Yu Huashan soon denied this idea. If there were 2 human sovereign realm warriors behind Lu Li, he would have killed his way to the Emperor Mountain by now. What if there were 2 noble lord realm warriors? Yu Huashan's heart was pounding. If there were noble lord realm warriors, then he would die here today. Yu Huashan's eyes flickered. He was in a dilemma. Whoosh! The warrior of the Eternal Realm he sent out soon came back. He cupped his fists and said, "Clan leader, there's nobody here. It's just the 4 of them." Yu Huashan still didn't say anything. He controlled the ship to stay where he was, struggling inside. "Ha ha ha." Lu Li raised his head and laughed. He said with mockery, "Yu Huashan, you came all the way from the Heaven Prison City just to kill me. Why don't you do it now? Don't you want to avenge Yu Lingxiu and Yu Fainon? Oh, I forgot to tell you. Yu Luan is still alive. I have planted soul worms in him. Do you want me to plant some for you as well?" "How dare you?" The Yu family warriors flew into a rage. Yu Huashan, on the other hand, was getting more and more uneasy. Lu Li was losing his patience. He waved his hand and said, "Kill them all apart from Yu Huashan. Capture Yu Huashan. If you can't kill him." Lu Li was just joking. Now he was tempted. If he could capture Yu Huashan and plant soul worms in him, he could have a noble lord realm slave. That would be great. Whoosh! Yi Jia was the first to fly out, followed by Mingyu. Yi Shao also moved. The three of them didn't leave anyone to protect Lu Li because they were confident that they could kill Yu Huashan easily. Nobody could get past them to kill Lu Li. Three noble lord realm warriors. Yu Huashan's pupils contracted like those of a beast. He shouted in panic. He thought quickly. Soon he made up his mind. He waved his hand and said, "Do it now. Kill Lu Li." Whoosh! Powerful warriors of the Yu family obeyed the family patriarch's order. They all flew out. Yu Huashan moved as well. A bead of life the size of 2 fingers appeared in his abdomen. Then the bead of life enlarged and turned into a meteorite. He flew onto the bead of life and then flew to the south in a blur. That was right. Yu Huashan flew to the south. He had sent his family members to their deaths, and he ran away. Being the family patriarch, Yu Huashan was not an idiot. What he did was the best choice. If he didn't run, everyone would die. If he died, the Yu family would be doomed. "Can you still run?" Yi Cha sneered. Then a black glare came from his neck. He sped up so fast that Lu Li couldn't even see him. Yi shouted the same. He released his bloodline skill and chased after Yu Huashan. Mingyu didn't join the fun. A bead of life came out from his abdomen. He shouted, "Force suppress." The bead of life glowed. Wind and clouds moved, and Xian Qi surged over. Then the world froze. The 3 warriors of the Eternal Realm and the more than a dozen warriors of the Fate Wheel Realm couldn't move anymore. They were suppressed by Mingyu's force. Cut! Mingyu drew a silver sword from his back and swung it forward. A ray of sword light surged forward like a wave. 4 or 5 warriors of the Fate Wheel Realm and one of the Eternal Realm were cut in half at once. Mingyu's long sword danced in the air once again. Another 2 rays of sword light shot out, slicing the bodies in half at the waist. Blood splashed in the air, and the broken bodies fell down. In the time for 2 breaths, all the warriors of the Yu family that came with them were killed. "Mingyu, you are elegant in killing." Lu Li couldn't help but exclaim. Mingyu sheathed the silver sword on his back, turned to Lu Li, and said calmly, "Killing is an art." Whoosh! Mingyu flew forward like a breeze. Lu Li shouted, "Take him down if you can. Noble Lord Realm slaves are valuable. P.S. From last Sunday to yesterday, I have been active for a week. I have fulfilled my promise. Today, I will restore 3 chapters. Take a break. Now, I will update at 6 o'clock every day. 3 chapters every day, for on weekends and at other times, depending on the situation." What was depending on the situation? For example, when I'm asking for monthly votes, I will do it. It was the end of the month. It would be a waste if I didn't do it. From today to tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, if I have more than 200 monthly votes, I will add 1 chapter with no limit. Now, I have 1,651 monthly votes. 400 plus 2 chapters, 600 plus 3 chapters, 1,000 plus 5 chapters, 3,000 plus 15 chapters. Come on, don't doubt my fighting capacity. I will do what I say. Chapter 273. Who is Lu Li? How could he have so many experts by his side? How is that possible? Over the boundless lake, Yu Huashan flew away on his bead of life like a shooting star. His face was as calm as an ancient well, but his heart was in turmoil. 3 warriors of the noble Lord Realm. None of the forces of the northern desert could have such a force. 3 noble Lord Realm warriors would make a 6th rank force. The most powerful ones at the northern desert were only 5th rank royal families. By family, Z family, Du family, and Yi family didn't have 3 noble Lord Realm warriors. Yu Huashan had information about Mingyu. He also knew that Mingyu knelt to Lu Li at the Blood Evil Island. However, Mingyu never went to the Blood Evil Island. When Lu Li went to the Wuling County, Mingyu used a substitute to show up at the heaven-punishing auction house. Therefore, Yu Huashan didn't think too much about it. However, Yu Huashan didn't expect that Lu Li really was the young master of Mingyu. Also, there were two warriors of the noble lord realm, and they were all standing behind Lu Li. Yu Huashan had to wonder about Lu Li's identity. Lu Li is not from the northern desert. He must be from the central plains. Yu Huashan was sure of this. If Mingyu called Lu Li young master, then Lu Li's father must be something. Yu Huashan didn't know what happened between Lu Ren Huang and Mingyu, so he couldn't tell. Whoosh, from behind came a noise. Yi Chao was catching up. Even though Yu Huashan was traveling at the top of his speed, he was still not fast enough compared to Yi Chao. The Cyan Phoenix race was the fastest race at the Central Plains. If Yi Chao could not even catch up with Yu Huashan at the middle stage of the Noble Lord realm, then the Cyan Phoenix race wouldn't deserve such a reputation. Yi Chao didn't attack at once. Instead, he walked around Yu Huashan and moved in front of him. Yu Huashan flew forward, and so did Yu Huashan. They maintained a distance of half a mile. Xiao, even though he had just reached the Noble Lord realm, the Cyan Phoenix race had 8th rank bloodline. The 4 patriarchs had all awakened 8th rank bloodlines. Once they used their bloodline skills, their speed would increase by 10 times. It would be a piece of cake for them to catch up with Yu Huashan. Yi Xiao followed suit. He went to the left side of Yu Huashan and followed him. Behind them was Mingyu. Unfortunately, Mingyu's speed wasn't fast enough. It seemed like he wouldn't be able to catch up in a short period of time. Yi Chao looked at Yi Xiao. A long sword appeared in Yi Xiao's hand. All of a sudden, Yi Xiao rushed toward Yu Huashan and stabbed forward with his sword. He didn't release any Xian energy, but seemed to pierce through the void. The sword in Yu Huashan's hand suddenly disappeared, and then reappeared in front of Yu Huashan. Profound! Only profound meanings could pierce through the void. Yu Huashan could not afford to be careless. He controlled his bead of life to move to the other side at once. At the same time, the flame mark on his neck appeared, condensing into a flaming shield in the air to his left. The sword pierced through the flaming shield and disappeared into nothingness. Yu Huashan suddenly came back to his senses. He shouted angrily, "No, it is not a profound meaning. This is just a secret skill. To be able to pierce through the void, it had to be a space profound. If this was an illusion, then it wasn't a profound. Instead, it was a secret technique derived from a profound. For example, Mingyu was sure that Lu Li's apparition skill was a secret skill derived from profound meaning. Ha ha ha, you have been fooled." Yi Chao laughed. He disappeared on the spot and came over in a gust of wind. Yi Xiao didn't know profound meanings. He was just cooperating with Yu Huashan. Yi Xiao was the main attacker. Yu Huashan turned to Yi Chao at once, trying to find the real Yi Chao with psychic power. By the time Yu Huashan found Yi Chao was already above his head. A pair of golden hooks appeared in Yi Chao's hands. He shouted coldly, "Yu Huashan, I will show you what a high-level profound meaning is." Yi Chao waved his hooks in the air. The wind and clouds moved, and Xian Qi surged over. Yi Chao swung his hooks downwards and shouted, "Profound meaning, space splitting." Swish! The profound qi that was swarming over all condensed into claws that were as big as a human body, and they were even emitting a golden light. The claws condensed too quickly, 1, 2, 10, 100. In the end, hundreds of claws appeared in the sky and reached down. Everywhere the claws passed, there were tiny cracks in the space. It was as if space was being torn apart. Horrifying! Even though Lu Li was far away, how could he not see such a powerful force? The huge golden claws were everywhere, as if they were the claws of a god, about to split the sky. Go! How could Lu Li miss out on such a shocking fight? He dashed in the water and dived over as fast as he could. Profound meaning of sparks, shield of sparks. Yu Huashan shouted. He used his profound meaning as well, and it was perfectly integrated with his bloodline skill. Flames kept coming out from the flame mark on his neck, and they entered his bead of life. Then the bead of life began to spin. Blue dragons of fire shot out from the bead of life. Those dragons of fire soared up to the sky and hovered around in midair. It quickly condensed into a huge shield, blocking the golden claws that came whistling down. Boom, 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 boom. The golden claws and the shield formed by the blue dragons of fire bumped into each other. Loud noises came out. There were already cracks in the space. Now, there were more cracks, like a broken mirror. Yu Huashan's shield of sparks was strong. The claws couldn't break the shield. One by one, the claws disappeared in midair. However, the shield formed by the blue fire dragon gradually dimmed and lost its luster. Whoosh! Mingyu finally made it. He stood on the right side of Yu Huashan, ready to take action at any time. After all the golden claws disappeared, Yicha dashed over to Yu Huashan and said with a smile, Yu Huashan, your profound meaning is not bad. It has been integrated well with your bloodline skill. But I only used 30% of my power. Do you think you can defend against 100% of my power? Also, I can tell you that my profound meaning is of the 6th rank. 6th rank, Yu Huashan's pupils contracted. His profound meaning was not of a high rank, only of the 2nd rank. But it was integrated with the bloodline skill, and its power was increased to the 3rd rank. Yi Cha's profound meaning was only of the 6th rank. At this rank, he wouldn't lie to others, not to mention about something like this. He had seen the power of the space splitting profound meaning. He almost couldn't defend against it. That was only 30%. How horrifying would it be if it was 100%? Yu Huashan, I am sorry, but I have learned the 2nd rank profound meaning force. Mingyu said. His voice was as cold as a glacier. You should know that force is a profound meaning related to space. It will be hard to kill you, but it will be easy to trap you. Once I trap you, do you think you can survive one move from him with the space splitting profound meaning? Yu Huashan didn't say anything. Mingyu's force was of the 2nd rank. It was not a high rank, but it was a profound meaning related to space, which was the most difficult to deal with. If the two of them worked together, Yu Huashan would be killed in one move. Mingyu said after a pause, Yu Huashan, I am not weaker than you, but I am willing to serve Lu Li as my master. As long as you serve our young master for 100 years, we will not make things difficult for you. Before Yu Huashan could reply, Yi Cha said in a deep voice, Yu Huashan, to tell you the truth, we are Lu Li's servants as well. It will not be a disgrace to you to serve our young master for 100 years. If you don't want to be a slave, then kill yourself. You can still die in one piece. But Yu family will be annihilated. Yu Huashan's eyes flickered. After the time for a few breaths, he made up his mind and asked, I want to know, what is Lu Li's identity that makes him worthy of you three serving him? Bang! Chapter 274. Yu Huashan was struggling. He would die if he didn't surrender. Based on what Lu Li had done recently, there was no way he could survive. Young as Lu Li was, he was cruel and merciless. Many died in his hands. Surrender? To be a slave to a warrior of the Soul Pond realm? Yu Huashan's reputation would be ruined. All-powerful warriors had dignity and pride. It was not easy to cultivate to this realm. He was one of the most powerful warriors of the Northern Desert. Also, Lu Li killed Yu Lingxiu. Yu Feijia and Yu Feinong all died because of Lu Li. One of the 3 warriors of the Eternal Realm was his brother, and he was killed by Mingyu as well. To be a slave to his enemy? This was more difficult than death. But if he didn't surrender, the Yu family would be destroyed. It would be a piece of cake for Lu Li and the 3 warriors of the Noble Lord Realm to destroy the Yu family. Any one of them could level the Yu Emperor's city to the ground. Lu Li saw Yu Huashan's eyes flickering and his face turning pale. He knew that Yu Huashan was struggling. Lu Li thought about it and said, Yu Huashan, don't be so conflicted. The winner takes it all. This is normal. Yu Luan is with me now. How smart is he? You will not lose face if you follow me. Maybe the Yu family will soar because of this, and you'll be blessed. Lu Li was talking nonsense. He had turned into a fraud. He was tempted by a slave of the Noble Lord Realm. More importantly, with Yu Huashan, he would have 4 warriors of the Noble Lord Realm. The Bai Emperor Mountain only had 4 as well. Du Zheng might not show up, so it would be 4 against 4. Yu Huashan had a chance. Yu Huashan was still hesitating. He was struggling. After some thoughts, he made up his mind and said, Lu Li, I would rather die if you don't tell me who you are. If Lu Li didn't have a special identity, why would he have 3 warriors of the noble lord realm following him? Yu Huashan didn't believe it. He had dignity and pride, but so did Ming Yu and the others. Who would be willing to follow a young man of the Soul Pawn realm? Lu Li was talented, but he hadn't awakened his bloodline. What future did he have? It was Lu Li's turn to hesitate. He didn't want to reveal his identity. In other words, he didn't want to borrow the Lu clan's influence. He was very unfamiliar with the Lu clan and didn't have much affection for them. Ever since he was young, he had always relied on himself. With the Lu family's influence, he felt that he had become a hedonistic young master like Su Yaoyong. After pondering for half an incense stick's time, he finally made a decision. He didn't want to borrow the Lu clan's power, but he could borrow his father's power. He said, let me put it this way. My father's cultivation level is above yours, and he can sweep away anyone in the same cultivation level. Human Emperor, Yu Huashan's expression changed. Then he suddenly remembered someone, a young, powerful warrior who once created havoc at the Bai Emperor Mountain. Although the Bai family had blocked the news, he still managed to catch wind of it. Lu Li? Lu? Yu Huashan's eyes glowed. He asked in a deep voice, Your father is Lu Renhuang? Lu Li nodded slightly. Yu Huashan trembled, and a trace of bitterness appeared on the corner of his mouth. He cursed Yu Feijia hundreds of times in his mind. Did Yu Feijia offend Lu Renhuang's children? Lu Renhuang reached the human sovereign realm in 20 years and almost killed the old man of Heaven Prison with one move. It was understandable that Lu Li had 3 warriors of the noble lord realm following him. Yu Huashan thought about it, made up his mind, and said, It is not shameful to follow you, but I need you to ensure the safety of the Yu family. Also, if the Yu family is in trouble, you must help. Once Yu Huashan followed Lu Li, he would not be able to take care of the Yu family. Without a warrior of the noble lord realm to protect the Yu Emperor's city, it could be easily destroyed by other families. Lu Li was in deep thoughts. He would go to the Central Plains after he finished the business here. There were many powerful warriors of the Central Plains. Warriors of the Cyan Phoenix race could not go to the Central Plains. Naturally, Lu Li hoped to take Yu Huashan and Ming Yu with him so they could look after each other on the way. How could he take care of the Yu family if he took Yu Huashan with him? Lu Li looked at Yi Cha, who understood, and nodded. Lu Li was relieved. Yi Cha said he could take care of the Yu family. Lu Li looked at Yu Huashan and said, I agree to your request. If you're still worried, I can swear. No, Yu Huashan said decisively. I don't think the son of Lu Renhuang will lie to me. With that said, Yu Huashan bowed, cupped his fists, and said, Greetings, young master. Young master? Lu Li forced a smile. It seemed that Yu Huashan still didn't recognize him. He bowed to Lu Renhuang because of him, but it was understandable. Nobody would laugh at Yu Huashan when he bowed to a warrior of the human sovereign realm. What was more, Lu Renhuang could defeat any warrior of the human sovereign realm. If he were not trapped in the ice abyss, all the warriors of the northern desert would bow to him. Lu Li looked at Yi Cha, who took out 3 white pellets. Yi Cha threw them to Yu Huashan and said, Take them. These are soul worm pellets. Your soul is strong, so you must plant 3 soul worms in them. Yu Huashan took over the pellets. A glint of pain and humiliation appeared in his eyes. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He looked like he had aged 10 years in an instant. He raised his trembling hand and threw the pellets into his mouth. His face twisted like a ferocious beast. Ming Yu, Yi Cha, and Yi Xiao could all understand Yu Huashan's pain. What he lost was not his freedom, but his dignity. It was like when a prostitute received a customer for the first time. What they sold was not their bodies, but their dignity. Yi Cha took out a jade talisman. Xian energy glowed in his hand, and the jade talisman gradually lit up. Ming Yu, Yi Cha, and Yi Xiao all used their psychic power to sense the soul worms in Yu Huashan's body. After the time for 1 incense stick to burn, the jade talisman in Yi Cha's hand stopped glowing. Ming Yu said to Lu Li in a low voice, The 3 soul worms are all in Yu Huashan's soul pond. Yu Huashan's soul is not strong enough to destroy the soul worms. Also, once he touches one soul worm, the other two will gnaw at his soul pond. Yu Huashan will die right away. The soul worms are of a higher level. There will be no problem. Yi Cha flew over and handed the jade talisman to Lu Li. Only when Lu Li consumed the jade talisman would he have a connection with the soul worms. Yu Huashan dared not to do anything to Lu Li. Lu Li was the master of the soul worm. Once Yu Huashan wanted to kill Lu Li or disobeyed Lu Li's orders, the soul worm would protect its master and bite Yu Huashan's soul pond. Lu Li released his Xian energy to consume the jade talisman. Soon, he established a spiritual connection with the soul worms. He nodded with satisfaction and said, Yu Huashan, the feud between me and the Yu family is over. I will set Yu Luan free and let him go back to the Yu family. Naturally, I will do what I promised you. Thank you, young master. Yu Huashan bowed again. In such a short time, there were wrinkles around the corner of his eyes, and some white hairs appeared by his ears. You could imagine how shocked he was just now. Let's go back. Lu Li waved his hand, and Mingyu took him on the waves. Soon, they arrived at the iron-armored ship. The others followed. Looking at the floating bodies, Yu Huashan's mouth twitched. His eyes were filled with pain. Let's go back first. I'll get someone to bring the body back and get a proper burial. Lu Li's hatred towards the Yu family faded away after he took Yu Huashan as his slave. The deceased was gone. For the sake of Yu Huashan, it was not a big deal to bury him. Yi Shao controlled the iron-armored ship and flew towards the God-Down City. It was not far away from the God-Down City. In less than an hour, they arrived. When Lu Li flew down with the other four, Pei Yin and the others saw Yu Huashan standing behind Lu Li with respect. The group of people were all dumbstruck. They were tongue-tied and unable to utter a single word. Lu Li paid no attention to them. He walked into the hall with the other four. As soon as he got in, he looked at Yu Huashan and asked, if we go to the Bai Emperor Mountain, do we have a chance of winning? Chapter 275. Du Zheng. Lu Li and Mingyu looked at each other. Both of them were solemn. Yi Cha and Mingyu didn't know much about what was going on outside, so they didn't have much of a reaction. The second most powerful warrior on the Northern Desert Warlord list was even more powerful than the Old Man of Heaven Prison. If he were to make a move, Yi Cha and Mingyu would be no match for him. Lu Li looked at Yu Huashan with curiosity and asked, it is said that there is a mysterious, powerful warrior in the Haunted Hollow who helped you kill the Old Man of Heaven Prison. Is it Du Zheng? Yu Huashan thought about it and said, I am not sure, but I think it is very likely. Not sure? Lu Li was taken aback, and so was Mingyu. The Haunted Hollow was the scheme of Yu Huashan and the others. How come he didn't know the identity of the mysterious, powerful warrior? Yu Huashan explained, as a matter of fact, the Yu family is not the leader of this. It is Du Heng, the king of the Heaven Frigid Kingdom. Yu Fainong and the other two came to kill you. Actually, they sent them to their deaths on purpose. Their purpose was to enrage the Old Man of Heaven Prison and lure him out of the Thousand Island Lake to the Haunted Hollow to kill him. What? Lu Li was shocked. Yu Fainong and the other two were not here to kill him, but to die? That was so cruel. Yu Huashan continued. After Bai Shi came back from the Yu Emperor's city, Du Heng sent someone to contact us. I went to the Heaven Frigid Kingdom secretly. Du Heng made a plan, and the other two royal family patriarchs came. Du Heng promised that he could kill the Old Man of Heaven Prison, so we set up the plan. Du Heng invited that mysterious, powerful warrior. Yu Huashan paused for a bit and said, that mysterious warrior didn't do anything directly. He helped us build a formation in the Haunted Hollow to trap the Old Man of Heaven Prison so that we could kill him. Because they didn't do anything, the Old Man of Heaven Prison had the chance to kill the Yi family patriarch by she could die with a noble Lord Realm warrior, and Bai Lung could escape. If that mysterious powerful warrior had done something, the Old Man of Heaven Prison wouldn't have had the chance to kill the Yi family patriarch. Because I can feel that person's combat capability is horrifying, no weaker than the Old Man of Heaven Prison. In a northern desert, only two people are stronger than the Old Man of Heaven Prison. It is impossible for the temple to do anything. So it must be Du Zheng. The reason why I could deduce that it was Du Zheng was because he didn't make a move. Du Zheng was a member of the Central Prefecture's Du family. A few of the top clans and forces in the Central Prefecture had an agreement. The families of the Central Plains cannot get involved in the conflicts of the other plains unless the Du family gives up their territory in the Central Plains and wholeheartedly develops in the Northern Desert. One more thing. The forces of the Northern Desert have been suspecting that the Du family of the Heaven Frigid Kingdom is related to the Du family of the Central Plains. It's very possible that the Du family of the Heaven Cold Nation is actually a branch of the Du family of the Central Prefecture. The Du family of the Central Plains secretly sent a branch to the Northern Desert to develop. Then they helped the Du family of the Northern Desert to unify the Northern Desert. The mysterious expert was also invited by Du Hong, so there's an 80% chance that the mysterious expert is Du Zheng. Lu Li and Ming Yu understood after Yu Huashan's explanation. Yi Cha and Ming Yu didn't quite understand, so they didn't ask. Lu Li thought about it and found Yu Huashan's deduction was reasonable. Was it because the Heaven Frigid Kingdom had only been established for 15 years? The Heaven Punishing Auction House had not been in the Northern Desert for long. The king of the Heaven Frigid Kingdom was surnamed Du, and the Heaven Punishing Auction House was also backed by the Du family. Wasn't this too much of a coincidence? Something is not right. Lu Li had a question. He asked, Yu Huashan, didn't you say that Du Zheng cannot get involved in the conflicts of the Northern Desert? Doesn't that mean he can't do anything in broad daylight? If he can't do anything, then what do we have to be afraid of? Yu Huashan forced a smile, cupped his fists, and said, Young master, he can't do anything in broad daylight because he can't leave any evidence. What if Du Zheng takes action by force and kills everyone here? What if he disguises himself and does it secretly? As long as there is no evidence, the big families of the Central Plains will not care. For the big families of the Central Plains, the Northern Desert is just a barren land in the middle of nowhere. Ming Yu thought about it and said, Young master, you cannot act rashly. If Du Zheng really has something to do with Du Hong, then the Du family of the Central Plains will help the Du family of the Northern Desert to unify the Northern Desert. If you go to the Bai Emperor Mountain, you will be ruining the Du family's plan. Du Zheng will definitely do something. Yi Cha and Ming Yu said nothing. For them, any decision of Lu Li's was right. They would carry it out without reservation. Because Lu Li was the Holy Lord, the two of them were his loyal followers. Let's wait and see. Lu Li didn't dare to act rashly. It was not a joke to offend the second most powerful warrior of the Northern Desert. Lu Li called Payan over and asked him to send a message to ask about the situation at the Bai Emperor Mountain. Then, he would wait for the right time. The situation at the Bai Emperor Mountain was not good or bad. Hundreds of people kept striking at the mountain protection formation, but it was like a turtle shell that could not be cracked. The hundreds of people were like a group of kids with wooden sticks. They could not crack the turtle shell no matter how hard they tried. The mountain protection formation just kept glowing and didn't even tremble one bit. The warriors on the ground had put their minds at ease. It seemed like the formation wouldn't be cracked in a couple of days. Some people were heartless and simple-minded. They thought that the people outside would never be able to crack the mountain protection formation. They even started to mock and provoke the warriors outside. Some even insulted Du Hong and the others. Madame Yin looked at the colorful shield above her head. She leaned back in her chair and closed her eyes to rest for a while. She exhaled and murmured, We should be able to hold on for 5 or 6 days. I hope a miracle will happen. Miracle? Bai Xiaoshuang asked with curiosity. Auntie, are you saying that Lu Li will come and save us? Ha. Madame Yin forced a smile and said, Don't count on Lu Li. I know him very well. If he could help, he would have come a long time ago. I am counting on the other 2 parties. Of course, the chances are slim. 2 parties? Bai Qiuxue was surprised. She couldn't think of anyone else at the Northern Desert that could help the Bai family. How did Madame Yin find help from 2 families without batting an eyelid? Madame Yin rubbed her temples and explained in a low voice, One of them is the temple. I offered all the wealth, mystical materials, and treasures of the Bai family, and asked the chief steward of the temple to help. Clearly, the temple didn't do anything. Otherwise, these people wouldn't even be able to get into the Heaven Prison City. Bai Qiushu nodded. The temple had never been involved in any disputes between forces. It had been hundreds of thousands of years, and they never made an exception. It was unlikely that they would help just for some mystical materials and treasures of the Bai family. Bai Qiushu asked, "Andy, what about the other party?" Madame Yin pointed to the southeast and said, "The Cyan Plains. The most overlord of the Cyan Plains, the Sun Palace, is a 7th-rank family. As long as the Sun Palace sends some powerful warriors over, the situation at the northern desert will be solved. After our forefather died, I sent a message to a small family at the Cyan Plains in a special way and asked them to contact the Sun Palace. Unfortunately, there is no reply yet." The Sun Palace. Bai Qiushu and Bai Xiaoshuang had a glimmer of hope. They had heard of the Sun Palace. It was the well-deserved overlord of the Cyan Plains. Forces like the Palace of Goddess could not compete with it. A 7th-rank family had 3 human sovereign realm warriors. Any one of them could suppress all the forces at the northern desert. The major families of the Central Plains had an agreement that the families and forces of the Central Plains could not enter other plains. However, the major families of the Central Plains could not control the other plains. It was not a big deal for powerful warriors of the Cyan Plains to come to the northern desert to help. Ghost Snake Granny even went to the Ice Abyss to snatch the essence blood of the Beast King and killed warriors of the Yu family. 5 or 6 days. Chapter 276. There was no miracle. 3 days had passed, and there was no news from the Cyan Plains. The massacre at the Thousand Island Lake was still going on. More than half of the Thousand Island Lake had fallen. More than half of the 4th-rank islands had fallen. More than 1 million people had been killed or injured. Luckily, the allied forces of the 3 kingdoms were tired, and they had vented most of their anger. The leaders of the teams started to restrain their men, fearing that they would be punished for their sins. Even so, every city fell. Everywhere the armies passed by would be scorched. All the treasures, Xian crystals, Xian artifacts, and even the herbs in the farms would be taken away. Girls would be lucky if they were ugly, but pretty girls would end up miserable. Several armies appeared in the territory of the God-Down City as well. Payan and the other scouts noticed them at once. Luli sent Nightingale to kill all of them. Luli struggled for several days. Payan kept sending back information. The Heaven Prison City had fallen, but the Bai Emperor Mountain was still holding on. The mountain protection formation was unbreakable. 700 or 800 powerful warriors had been attacking for 3 days, but the formation was not shaken. That being said, the 7-colored glow was dimming. Clearly, the energy in the formation was being consumed. It could not hold on for more than a few days. 3 days ago, Luli asked Yi Cha to go back to the small world. The other 3 patriarchs were still in closed-door cultivation, so Luli didn't dare to do anything. He wouldn't do anything unless he was 80% sure. He couldn't send people to their deaths just to save people. It would be unfair to Yi Cha, Ming Yu, and the others. Time moved on. Another 2 days passed by. The Bai Emperor Mountain sent back messages that the mountain protection formation was getting dimmer. It was in danger of being broken at any moment. Luli was sitting on pins and needles. He paced up and down in the hall of the God-Down City, waiting for a miracle. Or he could wait for the news that the Bai Emperor Mountain was broken and everyone was killed. It was dusk. 4 dark shadows came from the God-Down City. They flew across the plaza in the city like ghosts and rushed into the hall where Luli was. Ming Yu and Yu Huashen, who were standing behind Luli, had their eyes lit up. Yi Cha laughed and said, "Good, very good. They have made the breakthrough." 4 men in sackcloth with blurry faces appeared in front of Luli. They bowed and said, "Greetings, young master." 3 more noble Lord Realm warriors. Ming Yu and Yu Huashen looked at each other. Both were shocked. Among the 4, one of them was Yi Xiao, and the other 2 were able to detect it, but the auras of the other 3 were very unfamiliar. Good, very good. Luli was overjoyed. The patriarchs of the Cyan Phoenix race didn't waste his rising dragon grasses. 5 of them had reached the Noble Lord Realm. Now, Luli had 7 Noble Lord Realm warriors working for him. He looked at Yu Huashen and said, Yu Huashen, can we go to the Bai Emperor Mountain now? I just want to say Bai Qiuxue and Bai Xiaoshuang. They are my friends. Yu Huashen thought about it. After a while, he said, if you want to protect the Bai family, I think it will be difficult. Du Zheng will probably take action. We still have no chance of winning. And if you only want to save 2 people, I think there is still a lot of hope. Du Zheng should have some misgivings. If young lord reveals your identity, saving them will definitely not be a problem. I can't reveal my identity, Luli said with certainty. He looked at Yi Cha and said, Clan leader Yi, can you fight against a warrior at the peak of the Noble Lord Realm? Du Zheng should have learned a profound meaning of the 5th or 6th rank. After a moment of silence, Yi Chan nodded and said, if you are sure about this, then it is okay. I can stop him for a while. At least, he cannot kill me. Okay. Luli's confidence was boosted. With Yi Cha stopping Du Zheng, he had 6 Noble Lord Realm warriors on his side. How could they lose to Du Heng, Zi Huanyu, and the other 3? Luli shouted, Peiyan, get your ass in here. Peiyan rushed in from outside. Luli ordered, activate the teleportation formation now. We are going to the Heaven Prison City. Also, all of you go to the Blood Evil Island. If there are invaders that you cannot defeat, spread out and wait for me to come back. Yes. Peiyan followed Lu Li's orders obediently now. Lu Li waved his hand and said, let's go to the Heaven Prison City. Mingyu asked with hesitation, young master, how about you don't go and we do our best? Wrong. Yu Huashen answered, young master, if you go, you might be able to stop Du Zheng at the critical moment. Mingyu said nothing more after some thoughts. Luli had already rushed out. Peiyan had someone reactivate the teleportation formation. Lu Li and the other 7 rushed in. Boom, boom, boom. The Bai Emperor Mountain was glaring as if there were 700 or 800 fireworks going off at any moment. It was almost dusk. The light from the explosion was so bright that people at the Heaven Prison City could see it clearly. Tens of thousands of warriors on the ground all drew their weapons, and Xian energy was glowing. The moment the formation was broken, they would rush to all sides and find the armies of the 3 kingdoms to kill and drag some of them down with them. The few warriors of the Eternal Realm and the Fate Wheel Realm of the Bai family released their Fate Wheels. Many of them were advanced in age. They didn't want to wait for death in the small world. They were ready to be buried at the Bai Emperor Mountain. The mountain protection formation was as thin as a piece of paper. The glow it gave off was no longer colorful. It was getting dimmer and dimmer. It was in danger of being blasted open at any time. In the sky, 2 iron-armored ships floated quietly like 2 beasts in the void. The deck was full of people. Du Heng, Zi Huanyu, Qi Tianhe, and Yi Li were all there. On the other side, Du Xiling, Yi Yuhan, Zilian, and a group of young masters and young ladies stood there in silence, waiting for the final battle. Or rather, they were waiting for the Bai Emperor Mountain to be dyed red with blood. Zilian and Yi Yuhan couldn't bear to see this. But as the most outstanding disciples of their 2 families, they had to shoulder the responsibility of revitalizing their families and protecting their people. No matter how talented a genius was, he or she must go through the baptism of blood and fire. Otherwise, he or she could never assume responsibility and grow up. The Heaven Prison City was peaceful. There was no bloodbath in the city. Many small families weren't robbed. At the moment, many civilians were standing in the city, looking to the north, waiting for the mountain protection formation to be broken. They all knew very well that after the Bai Emperor Mountain was bloodied, the Heaven Prison City would be next. Boom! When it was getting dark, the mountain protection formation finally began to shake violently. It was as if a bubble was popped. The mountain protection formation vanished. Bai Dishan was like a shy girl, naked in front of a group of robbers. Buzzing at the same time, a teleportation formation in the Heaven Prison City lit up. A ray of light pierced through the clouds, lighting up the dark night. Many despairing and gloomy eyes lit up again. 8 people appeared in the teleportation formation. Luli looked to the north at once. He saw that the mountain protection formation was broken. He was burning with anxiety. Without any hesitation, he used his dragon roar skill at once. He bellowed, "Who dares to hurt Bai Qiuxue and Bai Xiaoshuang? I will wipe out his entire family." Hearing the familiar voice, Bai Qiuxue and Bai Xiaoshuang, who had drawn out their weapons in the pavilion, trembled. Tears ran down from their eyes. Chapter 277. Bang! Madame Yin slapped on a table in the pavilion. The table was smashed into pieces. Then the entire pavilion suddenly glowed. A small 7-colored shield enveloped the pavilion. Madame Yin was about to slap on another table which had a mechanism in it. Once the mechanism was activated, the teleportation formation hidden under the pavilion would be activated. The 3 of them would be teleported away in an instant to the entrance to the small world. Ever since Du Hong and the others arrived at the Bai Emperor Mountain, Madame Yin had never left the pavilion. There must be a reason. Madame Yin and Yuluan were the same kind of people who would never put themselves at death's door. Bai Qiuxue was right. Bai Qiuxue was right. Madame Yin would definitely take them away at the last moment, instead of dying with them. That being said, at that moment, Madame Yin stopped. A glint of hesitation appeared in her eyes. The shield outside the pavilion would not last long. If Lu Li was here to court death and they were delayed, then they would die with Lu Li. In the end, Madame Yin decided to wait and see. Lu Li's roar had shocked Du Hong and all the powerful warriors on the Bai Emperor Mountain. The dragon roar skill was powerful and its sound was earth-shattering. Lu Li's tone was arrogant. Du Hong and the others all looked to the south. There were many people at the plaza of the Heaven Prison City watching. Lu Li's roar made many people bleed from their eyes, ears, noses, and mouths. They rolled around on the ground, hugging their heads and howling in pain. Whoosh! Powerful warriors of the 3 kingdoms that were staying in the city flew over at once. Warriors guarding outside the teleportation formation drew their weapons as well. That being said, there were not many powerful warriors in the city, only 2 of the Eternal Realm, more than a dozen of the Fate Wheel Realm, and many of the Soul Pond Realm. They were all injured by Lu Li's Dragon Roar skill. Kill the Fate Wheel Realm warriors. Take down the Eternal Realm warriors. Lu Li waved his hand. Yi Xiao rushed out with several warriors. All the Fate Wheel Realm warriors that got close were killed. Ming Yu released his force at once and suppressed the 2 Eternal Realm warriors. Yi Xiao and the others took down the 2 Eternal Realm warriors after they killed the Fate Wheel Realm warriors. Ming Yu, iron-armored ship. Lu Li shouted again. Ming Yu's ring lit up. An iron-armored ship expanded and floated above the city. Go! Lu Li flew up and Yi Cha and the others followed him. Yi Xiao and another patriarch grabbed 2 Eternal Realm warriors by their necks and boarded the iron-armored ship. The flying ship flashed and flew towards the Bai Di Mountain. Wow, the city was in an uproar. Many warriors of the Soul Pond realm of the 3 kingdoms came to their senses at this moment. Looking at the iron-armored ship flying away, many people were shocked and confused. Why were there so many powerful warriors around Lu Li? Why was Yu Huashan with Lu Li? The Heaven Prison City was very close to the Bai Emperor Mountain. It would only take him a short while by carriage. The iron-armored ship was so fast that it arrived at the Bai Emperor Mountain in the time for a dozen breaths. Wow, people on the Bai Emperor Mountain and in the air were shocked. Many people looked as if they had seen a ghost in broad daylight. He stared at Lu Li and the several mysterious, powerful warriors with him. He couldn't believe his eyes when he saw Yu Huashan. All the powerful warriors stood behind Lu Li, including Yu Huashan. What did this mean? Positioning was a very important thing. It was related to the relationship between the master and the follower. If they were friends, then they would stand side by side. If they were Lu Li's seniors or masters, then Lu Li would be standing behind them. It just so happened that Lu Li was standing in the front with 7 powerful warriors behind him. Yu Huashen was the most important one. Yu Lingshu died in the hands of Lu Li by Qiushue, and by she disgraced the Yu family. Yu Luan and the others were annihilated when they attacked the God Down Island. Yu Huashen went to kill Lu Li in person. Yu Huashen and Lu Li were mortal enemies. How come he was standing behind Lu Li? Many people could not understand. Du Heng, Zi Huanyu, Qi Tianhe, and Yi Li couldn't either. Madame Yin, by Qiushue, and by Xia Shuang were confused as well. But soon Madame Yan's eyes glowed. Her tired face was glowing. She murmured absent-mindedly, "A miracle has happened. Like father, like son. Lu Renhuang's son really is guts." Lu Li looked to the outdoor pavilion and saw Bai Qiushue and Bai Xia Shuang, who were skinnier than flowers and had tear stains on their pretty faces. Somehow, Lu Li felt sorry for them. How did the two girls get through these days? Lu Li, Zilian, looked at Lu Li with mixed feelings. She once had the chance to bring Lu Li back to the Z family, but she missed it. When Lu Li went to the Thousand Island Lake, he was standing on the opposite side of the Z family. Later, when Lu Li killed Yu Lingshu at the Tomb of Dragon King, he saved Zi Lian's life. When they met again after that, he was standing on the opposite side of the enemy. There was no more chance to turn things around. Somehow, she felt fate was playing tricks on her. Lu Li, Du Xiling, on the other hand, shouted while clenching his teeth. Some young masters of the Heaven-Frigid Kingdom behind him were filled with hatred. Inside the tomb of the Dragon King, Lu Li broke their bones and made them unable to see anyone for a month after they went back. They hated Lu Li to the core. Du Heng snorted, which attracted everyone's attention. Du Heng's eyes were as sharp as an eagle's. When he glanced at Lu Li's face, he felt like he was being cut by a knife. He stared at Yu Huashen and coldly said, "Yu Huashen, what the hell are you doing? How come you are with Lu Li?" Yu Huashen was the most embarrassed one here. His face was burning. He was the family patriarch of a fifth-rank family, a powerful warrior of the Noble Lord realm, one of the most powerful warriors of the Northern Desert. But now, he had become someone else's slave. Many people here were familiar with him. They had sat together many times, drinking and chatting merrily. Now, he, a warrior of the Noble Lord realm, had become someone else's slave. It almost made him want to crawl into the ground. His expressions changed and his eyes flickered. Finally, he made up his mind and said, "Lu Li is my young master. Of course, I will follow him." What? Everyone was in an uproar. Many people felt like life was like a drama. Reality was more wonderful than novels. Young master, Du Heng and the others heard something special from this word. Young master meant that Yu Huashen had surrendered to Lu Li's father. Who was Lu Li's father, and how powerful was he that he could make a warrior of the Noble Lord realm surrender? Lu Li waved his hand to Yi Shao and the other patriarch. Yi Shao and the other patriarch threw the captured warriors of the Eternal Realm forward. Lu Li looked at the 4 warriors of the Noble Lord realm and said, "Guys, I am here for no other reason. I want to take 3 people with me, by Qiushue, by Xia Shuang, and by Yin. I don't want to be enemies with you. Can you do me a favor?" Lu Li wanted to save by Qiushue and by Xia Shuang. After all, he owed them his life. However, Madame Yin was on the same side as the twins. Based on his understanding of Bai Qiushue and by Xia Shuang, the twins would not leave without Madame Yin. Before Du Heng could say anything, Yi Li, the 3rd patriarch of the Yi family of the Heaven-Cold Kingdom, sneered. He glanced over to Madame Yin, Bai Qiushue, and Bai Xia Shuang, and said with mockery, "Do you a favor? Lu Li, who do you think you are? My family patriarch was killed by the old man of the Heaven Prison. I must take the 3 women back to pay homage to him. If you don't want to die, piss off." Zihuan, you said nothing. Qi Tianhe continued, "That's right. Lu Li, we have been working so hard for so long, and we have gained nothing. You want to take them away with just one word? How can it be so easy?" As far as Qi Tianhe was concerned, in order to get the wealth of the Bai family, Madame Yin must be taken care of. They had worked so hard to come here just for the wealth that the Bai family had been accumulating for years. Du Heng sneered. A huge saber appeared in his hand as he shouted, "You want to take them away? then you must ask my saber first. So, there's no room for negotiation? Lu Li's expressions turned cold. He stepped back, waved his hands, and said, "Let's go. Kill anyone who dares to stop us. P.S. You're so powerful. Yesterday, there were 1,651 votes. Now, there were 2,151. 500 votes had scared the old man. Cut to the chase. 200 for one vote, plus 2 chapters. 5 chapters. Chapter 278. Yicha rushed toward the Bai Emperor Mountain with the other 4. Mingyu moved as well. Yu Huaxin was the only one who stayed put. Yu Huaxin and everyone here knew each other, so it would be inappropriate for him to make a move. What was more, Yu Huaxin had the spark profound meaning, which could be combined with his bloodline skill to form the spark shield, which was quite good in defense and suitable to protect Lu Li. Yi Jie and the others had already released their bloodline divine skills to prevent others from seeing through their 8th rank bloodline. The 4 of them controlled their speed so that they were not too fast. They seemed to be just like average warriors at the initial stage of the Noble Lord realm. The 4 of them flew straight to the outdoor attic, as if they were going to take Madame Yin, by Qiushue, and by Xiaoshuang away by force. Yi Li of the Heaven Frigid Kingdom was the first to move. A bead of life appeared in his abdomen. Like Yu Huaxin, the bead of life grew into a meteorite with a diameter of 10 feet. Black chi swirled around it, emitting an indescribable, ferocious aura. "Come out!" The purple beast mark on Yi Li's neck appeared. A cloud of dark purple air came out and formed a shadow of a demonic wolf. The shadow of the demonic wolf rushed into his bead of life. "Combine!" Yi Li roared again, and his bead of life transformed into a demonic wolf. It was a huge demonic wolf with a metallic texture, a ferocious demonic wolf. Lu Li was amazed. He had seen Yuhan release her bloodline skill, which was a shadow of a demon wolf. At this moment, the bloodline skill was released by Yi Li and it merged with the bead of life. The fusion was not important, but the demon wolf had actually turned into a physical entity. "Young master." Seeing that Lu Li was confused, Yu Huaxin explained, "Fate wheel is mysterious. Young master, you will know when you make one. The natal bead is formed by the fusion of 9 fate wheels. It's even more magical and has endless uses." "Ha ha!" Yicha laughed, attracting Lu Li's attention. The reason why Yicha and the others rushed to the pavilion was to attract Du Heng and Yi Li. Yi Jie and the other 4 suddenly fell down, and Mingyu's heavenly jewels appeared in his lower abdomen, revolving around him. The wind and clouds in the surroundings suddenly changed, and a terrifying heavenly might enveloped the surroundings. Both Yi Li and the bead of life that had turned into a demon wolf slowed down. Bang! Yi Cha and the others all fell down. The 5 of them jumped up immediately after they landed. 4 of them went behind Yi Li, while Yi Cha dashed towards Yi Li alone. Ming Yu and Yi Cha's team coordinated perfectly. Yi Cha's team of 5 would attract the enemy's attention, while Ming Yu used his Sure to suppress them. Yi Xiao and the other 3 went to stop Du Heng and Qi Tianhe, while Yi Cha attacked Yi Li. Yi Cha increased her speed, but she still hadn't reached her limit. He didn't want to expose the horrifying speed of the Cyan Phoenix race, unless it was absolutely necessary. With Mingyu's power, it would be enough to injure Yi Li. Do it. Du Heng realized that something was wrong. If he didn't act now, Yi Li would be killed. The saber in his hand suddenly slashed out a beam of light. The beam of light was surging with a murderous aura, slashing towards the 4 elders of the Cyan Phoenix clan. Whoosh! Yi Xiao and the others did not dare to be careless. They immediately increased their speed and easily dodged the attack. The 4 of them transformed into numerous afterimages and turned into wisps of serene wind that fluttered in the sky. From time to time, the 4 of them would release their heavenly jewels, but it was just to borrow strength in midair. Hoi! Qi Tianhe made his move. A golden bow appeared in his hand, and a blue bloodline mark appeared on his neck. Countless thin blue lines flowed into his golden bow. He kept shooting arrows. Surrounded by blue air currents, the long arrows pierced through the sky and shot directly at Yi Xiao and the others. Get down! Yi Cha had already rushed to the front of Yi Li. A pair of golden hooks appeared in his hands as he released the sky-splitting profound meaning. Yi Li waved the hook forward for a few times, and the wind and clouds around him started to move. Golden claws were formed one after another, tearing the space apart and covering Yi Li in it. Come back. Yi Li was anxious. He controlled the demon wolf that was transformed from the heavenly jewels to come back. However, both he and the demon wolf were affected by Ming Yu's power. Their speed was greatly reduced, and they couldn't come back quickly. The golden claws were coming at him. Yi Li had no choice but to take out a round black shield from his space ring and put it in front of him. The Xian energy in his hands glowed, and the black shield was glowing. It was obviously a heaven-grade Xian artifact. Bang, 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 bang. Golden claws smashed on the black round shield one after another, causing a huge explosion. Yi Li's body kept falling down. Bang! How could a heaven-grade Xian artifact withstand the attack of profound meaning? Soon, the shield cracked. A huge broadsword appeared in Yi Li's hands, and he put it in front of him. Once again, he fended off the golden claws. Crack! However, after more than a dozen claws, the broadsword cracked again. Lu Li was heartbroken. Those were all good stuff. Each of them was worth millions of Xian crystals, and now they were destroyed. Bang! The golden claws smashed on Yi Li. His armor cracked layer by layer. Soon, his body was badly mutilated, and he fell to the foot of the Emperor Mountain. Yi Li was badly injured. It had been 7 against 4, and now it was 7 against 3. What was more, Zihuan didn't do anything. He just watched from the iron-armored ship. Du Heng and Qi Tian's attacks were dodged by Yi Xiao and the others. It seemed that Lu Li had gained the upper hand. Bai Qiuxue and Bai Xiaoshuang were excited. They blushed, and their eyes glowed with excitement. Madame Yin poured cold water on them and said, "Don't celebrate too soon. Du Heng is at the peak of the Noble Lord realm, and he has a 4th rank profound meaning. Also, his profound meaning and bloodline skill work together perfectly. He is not weaker than our forefather. He hasn't even used his full strength yet." The 5 mysterious men and Ming Yu on Lu Li's side have clearly just reached the Noble Lord realm. Only one of them and Ming Yu understand profound meaning. The other 4 would have been badly injured if it were not for the fact that they are fast. She was right. Du Heng made a move with full strength. A purple stamp on his neck glowed, the same as Du Xilin's. The little seal turned into a ray of light and shot into the sky. It quickly became bigger and bigger, turning into a small mountain. A heavy aura came from the little seal, and it felt like a Emperor Mountain. The bead of life appeared in Du Heng's abdomen. He didn't control it to fly out. Instead, it spun around his abdomen, giving off a yellowish glow. Whoosh! Yu Huashen controlled the iron-armored ship to move back at once. Du Xiling did the same. "What are you doing?" Lu Li looked at Yu Huashen with a frown. The latter didn't explain. He looked to the front and said, "See." Bang, bang, bang. There were several warriors of the Fate Wheel realm and the Eternal realm with Du Heng. They all fell down like shooting stars. Yi Xiao and the other 3 warriors were the same. They all took out their beads of life, but it was difficult for them to fly. Their speed was greatly reduced. Profound meaning of gravity is a 4th rank profound meaning. But Du Heng integrated another low-rank profound meaning into it not long ago. Its power has been doubled. It is now a 5th rank profound meaning. Yu Huashen looked at Du Heng with fear and said, "Profound meaning of gravity and his heaven flipping stamp. Du Heng's attacking power is horrifying. Apart from that subordinate of your family patriarch, Du Heng can defeat all of us one-on-one." Boom! The stamp smashed down. A patriarch of the Cyan Phoenix race was slowed down by the gravity. He couldn't dodge and was smashed into the ground. Chapter 279. Horrifying. Lu Li was shocked and so were the warriors on the ground, including by Qiuxiue. The combination of the gravity, profound meaning, and the overturning heaven seal was perfect. The overturning heaven seal could crush enemies with absolute strength. With the help of the gravity, profound meaning, Lu Li could defeat warriors of lower realms than Du Hong easily. Yu Huashan, can you stop Du Hong? Lu Li asked Yu Huashan. Yi Xiao and the others were running away, and Mingyu didn't dare to get closer. Yu Huashan forced a smile and said, "It won't work. I will be stopped in one move. My shield of sparks cannot stop his overturning heaven seal. I have a 6th rank bloodline, and he has a 7th rank bloodline. His profound meaning is 2 ranks higher than mine. Young master, don't worry." Yu Huashan thought about it and said to Yi Cha in a low voice, "This man hasn't shown his full power. I think he can be evenly matched with Du Hong. Step back. I will deal with him." Under such circumstances, Yi Cha could no longer conserve his abilities. He shouted and sped up. Even though he hadn't reached his limit, he was already horrifying. Lu Li and the others couldn't even see him clearly. Yi Cha transformed into a gust of wind, flew around in the sky, and dashed toward Du Hong. Ming Yu and the others stepped back at once, and then dashed toward the iron-armored ship toward Qi Tianhe and Zi Huanyu. They knew very well that they couldn't take Madame Yin by Qiuxiue and by Xiaoshuang away without defeating or killing Du Hong. Whoosh! Zi Huanyu made a move. What surprised many was that he didn't attack Ming Yu and Yi Xiao. Instead, he flew toward another iron-armored ship and landed in front of Zi Lian. Zi Huanyu's white beard danced in the air, and he put his hands behind his back. Clearly, he wasn't going to make a move. Du Xiling squinted. He sneered at Zi Huanyu and said, "Chief Patriarch, what do you mean by this? Or, are you in cahoots with Lu Li?" Zi Huanyu indifferently glanced at Du Xiling, and a violent aura surged from his body, making Du Xiling feel as if he was being stared at by a huge beast. Zi Huanyu glanced at him and said, "It's not up to you to teach me how to do things. If you spout any more nonsense, I don't mind teaching you how to behave on behalf of your father." Du Xiling didn't dare to speak, but Yi Yuhan glanced at Zi Lian. Zi Lian's beautiful eyes were also filled with confusion. She shook her head, indicating that she also did not know why Zi Huanyu was doing this. Zi Lian looked at Zi Huanyu. The latter thought about it and moved his lips. Zi Lian heard a mosquito-like voice. Lu Li's father is probably Lu Ren Huang, the warrior of the human sovereign realm that injured the old man of Heaven Prison with one palm more than a decade ago. Our family patriarch didn't come this time because he was afraid that Lu Li would come to the Bai Emperor Mountain. He is right. Lu Li, we cannot afford to offend him. Zi Lian let out a sound of surprise. She glanced over to Lu Li with astonishment written all over her face. Soon, a trace of bitterness appeared on her face. She regretted not helping Lu Li in the fight at the Wuling County. It seemed to be the worst decision she had ever made in her life. On the other side, Yi Xiao, Ming Yu, and the others had arrived near the iron-armored ship. Ming Yu had already used his force to suppress Qi Tianhe. His force seemed to be similar to Du Heng's gravitational inhibition formation, but there was an essential difference. Force was to use the force of heaven and earth to confine space. Gravitational inhibition formation, on the other hand, increased the gravity in that area, slowing down warriors and making them fall down uncontrollably. Yi Xiao stabbed forward with his long sword. He used the secret skill he used when he fought Yu Huashan last time, which scared Qi Tianhe half to death. The other 2 patriarchs of the Cyan Phoenix race also turned into phantoms and wandered around Yi Xiao, waiting for a chance to make a move. Qi Tianhe could not bear it anymore. He looked to Zi Huanyu, only to see that Zi Huanyu was standing there calmly. He had no intention of making a move. The only thing he could do was to dodge and retreat and shoot arrows to fight back. He knew very well that he could not hide for long. Ming Yu's force had suppressed him and slowed him down. He was no match for Yi Xiao and the others. It was only a matter of time before he was defeated or killed. On the other side, Yi Cha and Du Hong were fighting. Yi Cha sped up and circled around Du Hong. At the same time, He released the space, splitting profound meaning at full power. Huge golden claws smashed toward Du Hong from all directions. Yicha didn't get close to Du Hong, so he was not affected by the gravitational force. Facing Yi Cha's attack, Du Hong was not in a hurry. He controlled the small stamp to fly up and circle around him, smashing the golden claws easily. Boom, 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 boom. The small stamp and the golden claws collided with each other, creating a horrible explosion that could break through gold and stones. Small cracks appeared in the space, which were then healed and then cracked again and again. The process was repeated. It seemed that the fight between the two had cracked the sky and then healed it. Horrifying chi and energy spread out, making the atmosphere extremely heavy. It was like the eve of a storm, extremely depressing. Along with the sounds of explosions, many people's hearts trembled. The young masters and young ladies on Zilian's side had learned a lot. It was rare to see a fight of this level, which could help them learn and grow. Qi Tianhe was attacked by the four together, and the situation was getting more and more dangerous. Du Hong wanted to help many times, but he was stopped by Yi Cha. Yi Cha's attacks were continuous. They were powerful and fast. Yi Cha always kept a distance from Qi Tianhe. Qi Tianhe was furious, but there was nothing he could do. Swish, swish, Yi Xiao and the others rushed toward Qi Tianhe at the same time. Two patriarchs tried to distract Qi Tianhe while Yi Xiao attacked from behind. He used two hooks and left two deep marks on Qi Tianhe's back. Qi Tianhe was wearing a soft armor of the heaven grade, but it was cut open as well. His back was bleeding. Zi Huanyu, Qi Tianhe shouted in rage. What are you waiting for? Are you going to watch us die? Du Hong glared at Zi Huanyu and shouted, Zi Huanyu, are you going to break the contract? Take Luli down. Zi Huanyu shrugged and said, I am sorry, guys. The Zi family is out of this fight. Luli once saved my little Lian in the tomb of the Dragon King. Zi family has some history with Luli. She begged me. So, I'm sorry. Swish, 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 countless gazes looked at Zilian. Two red clouds appeared on Zilian's pretty face. She lowered her head and looked down. That bashful appearance of a little girl caused many young masters to be envious. Many people misunderstood. They thought that Zilian liked Luli, and that was why Zi Huanyu didn't want to be enemies with Luli. Du Hong and Qi Tianhe were shaking with anger. The Zi family was out of the fight at this critical moment. At this rate, they were going to be killed. Qi Tianhe looked at the warriors of the Eternal Realm and Fate Wheel Realm around him and shouted, What are you waiting for? Go and take Luli down. Du Hong looked at Du Xiling and shouted, Xiling, go to the Heaven Prison City. More than 100 warriors of the Eternal Realm and the Fate Wheel Realm rushed toward Luli and Yu Huashan. Du Xiling was carried by a warrior of the Eternal Realm toward the Heaven Prison City like a sharp sword. Oh no! Chapter 280. Whoosh, whoosh, more than 20 warriors of the Eternal Realm and 60 or 70 of the Fate Wheel Realm flew toward Luli. Many Fate wheels whooshed across the sky and smashed at the iron-armored ship that Luli was on. Many of them released their Xian energy, trying to smash the iron-armored ship that Luli was on into pieces. Piss off. Profound meaning of sparks. Yu Huashan shouted. The flame mark on his neck appeared, and his bead of life came out. A blue dragon of fire shot out. He didn't generate a spark shield. Instead, he controlled the dragons of fire to fly around. At the same time, he grabbed Luli with one hand and flew up from the iron-armored ship. Boom, boom. The iron-armored ship that was like a castle in the sky was smashed by the Fate wheels. It was torn apart in an instant. Wood shavings were flying around and falling down. Dust covered the sky and the ground. Luli was enraged. An iron-armored ship was worth millions of Xian crystals. It belonged to him, and he would be heartbroken if it was destroyed. He shouted, Yu Huashan, kill them. Swish, swish, the blue dragons of fire whooshed over and entangled the warriors one by one. The flames were horrifying. They were the combination of the profound meaning of sparks and bloodline skill. A single spark could start a prairie fire. The warriors that were entangled by the dragons of fire burst into flames. They rolled around in midair, and then they were burned to death in a speed visible to the naked eye. In the end, they fell to the ground as charred bodies. It was a ghastly sight. Yu Huashan was at the middle stage of the Noble Lord realm. It was so easy for him to kill warriors of the Fate Wheel realm and the Eternal realm. In the time for just a few breaths, he had killed more than a dozen warriors of the Fate Wheel realm and 3 of the Eternal realm. Yu Huashan was fast. None of the warriors that were carrying Lu Li and the others could hit them. Finally, the warriors of the Eternal realm and the Fate Wheel realm were scared. Nobody wanted to die, not to mention a meaningless death. Many of them flew to the distance at once. It would be hard for them to wound Lu Li, let alone capture him. Bang! Qi Tianhe was grabbed. Half of his leg was torn off by Yi Xiao, and he was smashed away. Qi Tianhe was scared. He controlled his beat of life to fly away like a shooting star. If he didn't run now, he would die here. Mingyu and the rest did not give chase. They were here to save people, not to kill. Yili from the Tianliang Kingdom was also down there. They didn't kill him because they were afraid that the situation would worsen and anger Du Zheng completely. Looking at Mingyu, Yi Xiao, and the others flying towards him, Du Heng was secretly anxious. He had worked so hard to create such a situation. Was it going to go to waste? Could it be that their invasion of the Thousand Island Lake would be the same as the last time, and they would return in low spirits? He looked at the Heaven Prison City. Du Xiling had gone there, but why hadn't Du Zheng come out? Du Zheng should be coming out, right? In the outdoor pavilion, Madame Yin murmured, if Du Zheng didn't come out today, Luli would have won for sure. However, the possibility of this happening was almost zero. Since Du Zheng had helped the 3 royal families in the Ghost Valley, he would definitely help them to the end. Otherwise, what he had done before would be meaningless. Zi Huanyu, Zi Lian, Yi Yuhan, and the others also looked at the Heaven Prison City. They didn't need to pay attention to the battle here. Now, they just needed to see if Du Zheng would come out. Similarly, many Eternal Realm and Fate Wheel Realm warriors and families on the by Emperor Mountain looked towards the Heaven Prison City, waiting for Du Zheng to show up. Whoosh! At that moment, 2 men flew up from the Heaven Prison City. It was just a warrior of the Eternal Realm who was carrying Du Xiling on a Fate Wheel. The 2 of them flew over in a blur. Du Xiling's amorous eyes were filled with pride. He stared at Lu Li in the distance and sneered. Lu Li, your time has come. Madame Yin, Bai Qiuxue, and the others were shocked. Du Zheng had come out after all. Bai Xiaoshuang and the others turned pale. Whoosh! As soon as Du Xiling finished his words, a golden chariot flew up from the Heaven Prison City and dashed towards them. There were 2 blurry figures on the chariot. In the front was a middle-aged man in a black robe, and behind him was a man dressed as a steward. The golden chariot was fast. It pierced through the sky in an instant. The 2 men could be seen clearly now. However, many people were taken aback when they saw the 2 men. Madame Yin, Bai Qiuxue, Bai Xiaoshuang, Lu Li, and many warriors of the Thousand Island Lake were stunned. They all knew the elegant middle-aged man in the front. Chief Steward Du of the Heaven Punishing Auction House. Lu Li also knew the man behind him. It was Zhan Yang, the steward of the auction house. Lu Li remembered clearly that when he was bidding for the Origin Blood Essence at the auction house, it was this steward, Du, who mortgaged the Heaven Serpent Fruit for him so that he could buy that drop of blood at the price of 20 million. This steward Du was the steward of the Heaven Punishing Auction House. Many people knew him. Many patriarchs and stewards of families of the Thousand Island Lake went to the Heaven Punishing Auction House to sell or auction treasures. They were all received by Du in person. As far as many people were concerned, this man was just a small steward. He was not powerful, only at the Eternal Realm. The chariot pierced through the sky and stopped by the Bai Emperor Mountain. Chief Steward Du glanced over and said with a smile, I am Du Zheng. Nice to meet you. It is quite a scene here. King Du Heng, why did you ask young Master Du to invite me here? What? Everyone was in an uproar. This man really was the number 2 warrior of the Northern Desert, Du Zheng. Du Zheng was famous, but he never showed his face in public. This was the first time he revealed his identity. Many people didn't expect that this smiling Chief Steward Du was the Chief Steward of the Northern Desert of the Heaven-Punishing Auction House, the #2 warrior on the Northern Desert Warlord list. Du Hong, Du Xiling, and the others were stunned. Of course, Du Hong knew this man was Du Zheng. What he didn't understand was why Du Zheng didn't do anything after he came out. Why did he pretend to be unfamiliar with him? After a while, Du Hong said in a deep voice, "Lord Du Zheng, please help us kill these enemies. We will be grateful. If you have any requests in the future, I will satisfy you." Everyone quieted down at this moment. Yi Cha, Ming Yu, and the others stopped. They looked at Du Zheng, waiting for his decision. Ha. Du Zheng smiled lightly. He shook his head and said with a bitter smile, "What are you talking about, King Du? The Heaven-Punishing Auction House is here to do business. We cannot interfere in the disputes of the Northern Desert. This is the iron rule of our family. Also, the major families of the Central Plains have an agreement that families of the Central Plains cannot interfere in the internal affairs of other continents. Haven't you heard of this? So, King Du, I am sorry. I cannot help you." Many people roll their eyes. Even though Du Zheng didn't reveal his identity in the Haunted Hollow, many people were sure that Du Zheng had helped him. Du Hong was 100% sure because it was Zhan Yang, the man behind Du Zheng, who contacted him. Du Hong touched his nose, not understanding what Du Zheng was up to. Not only Du Hong, but Zi Huanyu, Yu Huashun, Ming Yu, and Madame Yin were also confused. Who was Du Zheng putting up show for? If he didn't want to get involved in the disputes of the Northern Desert, then why did he help the 3 royal families to kill the old man of Heaven Prison? After a moment of silence, Du Hong cupped his fists again and said, "Lord Du, you must be joking. You are here. Don't you want to do something?" Du Hong's hint was clear. Since Du Zheng had shown up, there was no need for him to pretend to be a saint. Otherwise, wouldn't it be better for him to hide in the auction house? "Of course I am here for something." Du Zheng nodded. Then he looked at Lu Li, cupped his fists, and said with a smile, "I am here for young Master Lu. Young Master Lu, you once mortgaged a heaven serpent fruit at our auction house. Why didn't you come and deal with it? Now that you are here, why don't you come to my place? Let's talk and see if there is a possibility of cooperation in the future. Young Master Lu, can you do me a favor?" Swish, 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 Du Hong, Du Xiling, Yi Yuhan, and the other warriors' expressions changed. Du Zheng's hint was clear. This time, he was here to support Lu Li. Phew, Zi Huanyu exhaled. He felt lucky that he didn't make a move just now. Suddenly, a bold idea came to his mind. Du Zheng went around in circles and set up such a shocking plan. Could it be he was trying to befriend Lu Li? Chapter 281. Lu Li's identity was easy to find out. If he had stayed quietly at the Delong tribe, nobody would have known who he was. Once he rose to prominence, he would arouse the suspicion of some big forces. Lu Li's identity could be found out easily. Years ago, Lu Renhuang made a scene at the Bai Emperor Mountain at the Thousand Island Lake because of Ming Yu. He almost killed the old man of Heaven Prison. Even though the Bai family blocked off the information, such a big event could not be kept under wraps. Some families had received the news. When Ming Yu knelt down at the Blood Evil Island and called him young master, many people had suspected Lu Li's identity. Even though Ming Yu left and never came to the Blood Evil Island, he showed up again not long ago. The ghost mask could not protect him from the detection of noble Lord Realm warriors. Therefore, Zi Huanyu, who knew the inside story, didn't do anything. Du Hong and Shi Tianhe, on the other hand, thought that they had Du Zheng to back them up, so they had nothing to worry about. The king of the Heaven Cold Kingdom was killed by the old man of Heaven Prison. Yili would do something even if he knew Lu Li's identity. What made Du Hong feel ridiculous was that Du Zheng came out in the end to support Lu Li. He wanted to send a signal to everyone. He was on Lu Li's side. Anyone who dared to offend Lu Li would be his enemy. Every scheme must have some kind of benefit. Otherwise, the one who planned it would be a psycho. Du Zheng was not a psycho. He wanted to gain something. Previously, People had speculated that he had something to do with Du Hong and wanted to help Du Hong unify the northern desert. Now, he was on the opposite side of Du Hong. Therefore, this speculation was wrong. After Du Zheng made his stance clear, the fight was already over. Du Zheng set up a shocking scheme and went around in circles. What benefit did he gain? There was nothing. The only benefit he could gain was Lu Li's friendship. If Du Zheng stood on Du Heng's side, then Lu Li's side would suffer a crushing defeat. On the other hand, Lu Li would win. The huge gap between a crushing defeat and a great victory would have a great impact on Lu Li. Lu Li's affection towards Du Zheng would increase infinitely. Why would Du Zheng fawn over Lu Li? It was easy to understand. Lu Li was a disciple of the immediate Lu family. Lu Li's father, Lu Renwang, was enough for Du Zheng to pay a huge price to befriend Lu Li. That was why Zi Huanyu had his doubts. Madame Yin had the same doubts as well. Only Du Hong, Du Xiling, Zi Lian, Yi Yuhan, and the others were stunned. They could not understand why Du Zheng would do this. As the person in charge, Lu Li couldn't figure it out either. But since someone had extended an olive branch, it would be impolite of him to turn it down. He quickly smiled and cupped his hands. How can I not appreciate Chief Steward Du's hospitality? However, can you wait for a moment and allow me to settle the matters here first? All right. Du Zheng nodded and said with a smile, Young Master Lu, please go ahead. I'll be waiting for you at the auction house. After saying that, Du Zheng glanced at Du Hong and Zi Huanyu coldly, then flew towards the Heaven Prison City in the golden chariot and soon disappeared from the city. Whoosh! The hint from Du Zheng's glance was very clear. Du Heng's body cut through the sky, grabbing Du Xiling with one hand and flying south without looking back. Run! Nobody dared to stay any longer since Du Hong had run away. Many warriors of the Eternal Realm and Fate Wheel Realm scattered to all directions and fled. Powerful warriors of the Eternal Realm of the families flew to the iron-armored ships and took their young masters and young ladies with them. A powerful warrior of the Eternal Realm that was guarding Yili took him and flew away. There were people running away everywhere. It was a mess. Young master, Yicha looked at Lu Li, asking if he should go after them. Lu Li shook his head after some thoughts. He was here to save people, not to kill them. How many could Yicha and the others kill when so many people were running away? Young Master Lu, I am Zi Huanyu, the chief patriarch of the Zi family. Zi Huanyu and the young masters and young ladies of the Heaven Martial Kingdom didn't leave right away. Zi Huanyu cupped his fists and said, I meant what I said. Thank you for saving my little Lien at the Tomb of Dragon King. The Zi family also hopes to make friends with you. If you have the chance, go to the Heaven Martial City and have fun. The Zi family will welcome you with open arms. Zi Huanyu didn't do anything just now. Lu Li had a good impression of him. What was more, Zi Lian had put in a good word for Lu Li at the Yu Emperor City. Lu Li looked at Zi Huanyu and Zi Lian, cupped his fists, and said, Thank you, Chief Patriarch and Lady Lian. I will visit you when I have time. Then we will leave now. Zi Huanyu waved his hand. The iron-armored ship flew away in a ray of light. Zi Lian gave Lu Li a meaningful look. A smile appeared on her face, but she sighed inside. The Emperor Mountain that was so noisy a moment ago quieted down. What was left was the devastated battlefield and dozens of corpses. Whoosh! Yicha made a gesture to Yi Shao. Yi Shao flew down and brought out the patriarch of the Cyan Phoenix race. That patriarch was covered in blood, and some of his bones were broken, but he was still alive. Yicha knew very well that this patriarch would not die. Otherwise, he wouldn't sit around and do nothing. Yicha was confident in the defensive means of the Cyan Phoenix race. Yicha took out an iron-armored ship, and they all boarded it. Lu Li looked around and said to Madame Yin, Madam, you take care of the rest. Madame Yin was still thinking about what Du Zheng was up to. She was alarmed by Lu Li's words. She nodded and said, Young Master Lu, I cannot thank you enough. I can take care of the rest. Du Hong ran away. Qi Tianhe escaped with injuries. Yili was taken away because he was badly wounded. Zi Huanyu would not get involved in the battle at the Thousand Island Lake. The most important thing was that Du Zheng had chosen a side. The outcome was set. The armies of the three kingdoms would retreat soon, and they wouldn't dare to attack again for a while. Lu Li turned the tide and settled the chaos at the Thousand Island Lake. Clan leader Yi, Yu Huashen, come with me to the auction house. Mingyu, help Madame Yin to stabilize the situation. Lu Li ordered again. He still didn't trust Du Zheng, so he couldn't go alone. After all, Du Zheng was acting strangely. At least, Yi Cha and Yu Huashen would be safe. Yi Cha grabbed Lu Li with one hand, and Yu Huashen followed him. The three of them rushed towards the Heaven Prison City. Mingyu and the others landed and stood outside the outdoor pavilion. Yi Xiao was healing the patriarch of the Cyan Phoenix race, while the other two patriarchs stood there in silence. We won. Bai Xiaoshuang still felt like she was dreaming. Soon, she shouted with joy. Cheers came from the Bai Emperor Mountain as well. Many people were shouting Lu Li's name. For them, Lu Li was their savior, the new guardian of the Thousand Island Lake. Madame Yin and Bai Qiushua looked at each other. They didn't look too happy. Instead, they had strange expressions. Both of them had a suspicion that Du Zheng had set up this trap to befriend Lu Li. In other words, Du Zheng had set up a trap to kill the old man of Heaven Prison and Bai Shi in order to befriend Lu Li. Even though this had nothing to do with Lu Li directly, it was highly possible that the old man of Heaven Prison and Bai Shi died because of Lu Li. Du Zheng wanted to give the entire Thousand Island Lake to Lu Li, a generous gift. If Lu Li wanted to become the master of the Thousand Island Lake, the old man of Heaven Prison and Bai Shi must die. Madame Yin and Bai Qiushua should be grateful to Lu Li for saving the Bai family and the Thousand Island Lake. Chapter 282. The reception hall of the auction house was quiet. There was not a single guest inside, only Zhan Yang and two maids. Seeing Lu Li coming in with Yi Cha and Yu Cha, Zhan Yang put on a warm smile. He bowed and said, "Welcome, young Master Lu. Welcome, my lords." Lu Li nodded. Zhan Yang made a gesture of invitation and said, "Please come in. Chief Steward is waiting for you inside." Led by Zhan Yang, Lu Li, Yu Cha, and Yu Cha walked into a luxurious hall. It was luxuriously decorated. There were 8 beautiful maids standing there. Delicious food was placed on the golden table as if they had been waiting for Lu Li. Du Zheng didn't greet them outside. Of course, he didn't sit down either. He stood in the hall with a smile, looked at Lu Li, and said, "Young Master Lu, you are a rare guest. I have been waiting for you since we met last time, but you don't want to help us even once." Lu Li didn't take this kind of polite words seriously. He laughed and sat down behind a golden table. Yi Cha and Yu Huashen didn't sit down. They stood behind Lu Li. Du Zheng asked the maids to serve tea after he sat down. Then he said, "Young Master Lu, this tea is called Virgin Leaf. It is from the Virgin Mountain at the north of the Central Plains. It means that it is as sweet as a virgin. Try it." Yu Huashen and Yi Cha looked at the tea. Yi Cha even used his psychic power as if he was afraid that there was something wrong with the tea. Lu Li picked up the tea without any hesitation. He smelled the tea and took a sip. He closed his eyes and savored it for a while. Then he nodded and said, "I don't know much about tea, but I can tell that it is of the highest quality. I think it can nourish the soul." Ha ha ha. Du Zheng laughed out loud. He gave Lu Li a thumbs up and said, "Extraordinary people do extraordinary things. Young Master Lu, you are extraordinary. I admire you. Well, this tea is nourishing the soul as well. 1 ounce of it is worth 1,000,000 Xian crystals. If it were not for you, I would not have taken it out." With that said, Du Zheng looked at Yi Cha and Yu Huashen and said, "Brother Yi and Brother Yu, do you want to try it as well? And, Brother Yi, your secret art might be very mystical, but this dude just happens to cultivate a secret art that can see through Brother Ye's true appearance. As for Brother Ye's identity, don't worry. I will not tell anyone." Lu Li's expressions changed. A glint of killing intent flashed across Yi Cha's body. How could Du Zheng see through the identity of the Cyan Phoenix race? One had to know that the Cyan Phoenix clan had a few terrifying enemies in the Central Plains. Once those great clans knew that there were still survivors of the Cyan Phoenix clan, they would immediately send experts to hunt them down. Hee. Du Zheng smiled faintly and waved his hand. Brother Yi and young Master Lu, don't be nervous. I don't mean anything by it. If I had any other thoughts, I wouldn't be sitting here with the three of you right now, right? Lu Li and Yi Cha's tense bodies relaxed. It made sense. If Du Zheng had other ideas, the powerful warriors of the Central Plains would have come to the northern desert by now. Lu Li picked up the teacup and took another sip. He thought of something and asked, Chief Steward Du, there is something I don't understand. I just don't know if I should ask. Du Zheng was acting so strangely that Lu Li decided to get to the bottom of it. If he couldn't figure out Du Zheng's plot, he wouldn't be able to sleep at night. Du Zheng was the number 2 warrior on the warlord list of the northern desert. Du Zheng seemed to have guessed that Lu Li would ask. He nodded and said, Young Master Lu, please go ahead. I will tell you everything I know. Okay. Lu Li went straight to the point. Did you get involved in the Haunted Hollow? Yu Huaxin and Yi Cha didn't drink any tea. They had been standing behind Lu Li. They both looked at Du Zheng with curiosity. Du Zheng waved his hand to let the maids and Zhang Yang leave. Then he nodded and said, I did get involved. I even set up that scheme. I asked Du Heng to contact Brother Yu, and we killed the old man of Heaven Prison together. Of course, Brother Yu, you know that I didn't do anything. I just built a formation to trap the old man of Heaven Prison. Actually, I'm taking a big risk by telling you this. If the big families of the Central Plains know that I am involved in the dispute at the Northern Desert, they will blame the Du family. By then, I will not be able to escape death. This is a taboo. I hope young Master Lu, Brother Yi, and Brother, you can keep it a secret for me. What? Lu Li and the other two were shocked. Not only did Du Zheng admit it openly, but he also said that he was the one who set it up. He also explained the risk. If the big families of the Central Plains knew, he would be killed. This was equal to giving Lu Li a handle. If Lu Li and the other two went to the Central Plains, Du Zheng and the Du family would be in big trouble. Lu Li was even more confused. Since Du Zheng had set up the scheme, why didn't he do anything in the end? Instead, he helped him? Lu Li frowned and asked, Chief Steward Du, I don't understand. If you're the one who set it up, then why didn't you do anything to us? Why should I do that? Du Zheng shrugged his shoulders and said, Actually, I set this up for you. Why did I give you the Thousand Island Lake and even the Northern Desert? Think about it. Who could be a match for you at the Northern Desert now? If you want to unify the Northern Desert, it will be as easy as turning over your hand. You have 7 noble Lord Realm warriors under your command. None of the forces or families are a match for you. Young Master Lu, you should understand now how important territory is to a warrior's cultivation. With the Thousand Island Lake or the Northern Desert, you will have endless resources. You can also dictate the life and death of billions of people at the Northern Desert and become the new emperor of the Northern Desert. Zi Huanyu, Madame Yin, and by Qiushue's guesses were confirmed. Du Zheng had set up a big plan. His purpose was to help Lu Li unify the Thousand Island Lake and the Northern Desert. Lu Li was stunned by the news. He opened his mouth wide and couldn't come back to his senses for a long time. Yi Cha and Yu Huaxin were deep in thoughts, especially Yu Huaxin. He already had some doubts. Now that Du Zheng had made it clear, his guesses were confirmed. Yu Huaxin thought about it, and soon he figured it out. Du Zheng seemed to be crazy, but in fact, everything was very logical. He played the game beautifully. The Du family shouldn't be coveting the Northern Desert. They only wanted to develop at the Central Plains. Getting the Northern Desert wouldn't mean much. Instead, it would be more beneficial for the Du family to befriend a disciple of the immediate Lu family, a son of a human sovereign realm warrior. What was more, Lu Li was only 16 years old, and he could kill warriors at the peak of the Fate Wheel realm. He also had the allegiance of a mysterious race. His future was limitless. The old man of Heaven Prison was going to die of old age soon. By then, The Thousand Island Lake would also be massacred by the three royal families and occupied by the three kingdoms. It would be better to give the Thousand Island Lake to Lu Li. Lu Li kept silent for the time, for 3 incense sticks to burn. Then he exhaled and said with a bitter smile, Du Zheng, you are a lunatic. In order to befriend him, in order to do him a favor, in order to give the Thousand Island Lake and the northern desert to him, Du Zheng had set up a big plan. Du Zheng had made a big move. All the powerful warriors of the northern desert were his pawns. He had made a good play, but many of his chess pieces had been destroyed. Countless people had died. The Thousand Island Lake was still bleeding. The old man of Heaven Prison died, Bai Shi died, the Yi family patriarch died, and a warrior of the noble lord realm of the Heaven Martial Kingdom died. Most of the powerful warriors of the Thousand Island Lake and the 10,000 warriors of the Soul Pond realm were almost wiped out. More than half of the civilians of the Thousand Island Lake had died as well. Just to do him a favor, Du Zheng had plunged lives into misery and suffering. Countless people had died. The entire northern desert was covered in blood. If Du Zheng was not a lunatic, then what was he? Chapter 283. Soon, the chaos at the Thousand Island Lake died down. Powerful warriors of the three kingdoms all gave orders, and the armies retreated at once. The big shots of all the kingdoms had given strict orders that anyone who dared to kill another warrior of the Thousand Island Lake or take another Xian crystal would be killed without mercy. Du Zheng was on Lu Li's side. The powerful warriors Lu Li had could suppress all the forces at the northern desert. Who would dare to act recklessly now? What if Lu Li was so enraged that he would go to the royal city and destroy the three kingdoms? Madame Yin sent an army of warriors to take over the occupied territories. However, there was nothing left to take over. Many cities had been razed to the ground, and all the good stuff had been looted. Even the herbs in the fields had been plucked clean. Many families of the Thousand Island Lake led their teams to hunt down the enemies. The Thousand Island Lake had lost so many warriors. Now that they had won a great victory, they naturally wanted to pursue the enemies. Madame Yin didn't mind the pursuing troops. She just told them not to go out of the Thousand Island Lake. Too many died at the Thousand Island Lake. It would be good for them to vent their anger. Lu Li didn't go to the Bai Emperor Mountain after he left the auction house. Instead, he went back to the God-Down Island directly. He was afraid to meet Madame Yin, Bai Qiuxiwe, and Bai Xiaoshuang. Du Zheng had given Lu Li a generous gift. As long as Lu Li wanted it, he could become the king of the Thousand Island Lake at once, unify the northern desert, and become the new emperor. Unfortunately, Du Zheng didn't know Lu Li. This was not the right way to give a gift. Not only did Lu Li not appreciate it, but he also had some resistance towards people like Du Zheng. For the sake of profit, he did not hesitate to drag so many innocent people down with him. This person was a lunatic. It was undeniable. Lu Li had indeed become the savior and patron saint of the Thousand Island Lake, the uncrowned king. Only Lu Li had the power to protect the Thousand Island Lake. As long as Lu Li was alive, the three royal families would never dare to attack the Thousand Island Lake. Lu Li would become the second old man of Heaven Prison. Only a few people knew the truth. Many only had their doubts. On the surface, it seemed that Lu Li had turned the tide, defeated the powerful warriors of the three kingdoms, and saved the Thousand Island Lake. The news spread like snowflakes. Lu Li's name was heard across the entire Thousand Island Lake. Some of the survivors began to set up tablets for Lu Li and worshipped him day and night. The army came and left in a hurry. In merely 10 days, all the invading armies retreated. All the islands of the Thousand Island Lake were recovered. The wounded began to be treated, and the dead were buried. Many parts of the Qianhu Island that had been dyed red became clear again. Peace was restored at the Thousand Island Lake. However, many people were gone. The power structure of the Thousand Island Lake was broken. Some of the families that originally occupied the rank 4 islands had lost too many experts, so they no longer had the strength to intimidate everyone. It was inevitable that they would be coveted by others. Although no one dared to make a move for the time being, It was only a matter of time before the other families snatched it away. The Bai Emperor Mountain was quiet. There seemed to be fewer people in the Heaven Prison City. The most lively place was the God-Down City. All the family patriarchs and leaders of forces of the Thousand Island Lake were here to pay their respects to the uncrowned king of the Thousand Island Lake. Luli asked Lu, E, and Patriarch 9 to entertain them. If worst came to worst, he could ask Yuhuashan to do it. He stayed alone in the backyard for 10 days, but he still couldn't figure out how to meet by Qiushue and by Xiaoshuang. On the 11th day, a special guest came to the God-Down City. It was Madame Yin. Luli had to meet her. He asked Lu E to bring Madame Yin to the backyard and meet her in a side chamber. Mingyu stood behind Lu Li, still wearing the ghost mask. Madame Yin was not as haggard as she was the other day. She wore a black dress, 2 strings of black beads on her ears, and a black pearl necklace on her neck. The necklace contrasted with her fair skin, making her look cold and elegant. Madame Yin came alone. She bowed to Lu Li and said with respect, "I am Bai Yin. Greetings, young Master Lu." She was behaving like a servant meeting a superior. Lu Li touched his nose in embarrassment and said, "Madam, please take a seat. Someone serve some tea." The maid served the tea. Madame Yin didn't drink it. She looked at Mingyu and said, "Young Master Lu, can I have a word with you in private?" Mingyu looked at Lu Li coldly with killing intent. Lu Li waved his hand and said, "Mingyu, you can leave now." Mingyu gave Madame Yin a look of warning, and then he flashed away. Lu Li felt even more embarrassed. He coughed and said, "Madam, how is the Bai Emperor Mountain? Are the other places of the Thousand Island Lake under control?" "Thanks to you, young Master Lu, the Bai Emperor Mountain is doing well." Madame Yin nodded. Then she said with jealousy, "As for the other places of the Thousand Island Lake, young Master Lu, I think you know it better than me. Those island owners and family patriarchs come to you every day. There should be dozens of them outside right now." Lu Li could tell the jealousy in Madame Yan's words, and he knew what she was trying to say. The Bai family used to be the overlord of the Thousand Island Lake. Now, nobody went to the Bai Emperor Mountain. They went to the God-Down City every day. The overlord of the Thousand Island Lake had changed. It was understandable that Madame Yin was jealous and bitter. Lu Li said in a serious tone after a moment of silence, "Madam, you don't have to force me with words. I have never wanted to be the overlord. The Thousand Island Lake still belongs to the Bai family. Soon I will leave, not the Thousand Island Lake, but the northern desert. Maybe I will never come back." If it were not for Bai Qiushue and Bai Xiaoshuang, Lu Li would have sent the Lu family to the small world and asked Mingyu to take them to the Central Plains. He wanted to find the Lu family and get Lu Ling back from the Siam Plains. His mind was not on the Thousand Island Lake, nor did he want to be the overlord here. Therefore, Du Zheng's generous gift was not the right one. Lu Li did not know how far he would go to the Central Plains and what kind of dangers he would encounter. Not only did he want to go to the Central Plains, he wanted to go to the Siam Plains as well. Maybe he would die on the way. That was why there was a saying that he would never come back. "You are leaving?" Madame Yin was taken aback, and then she panicked. She said seriously, "Lu Li, you cannot leave. I was just kidding. How can the Bai family be the overlord of the Thousand Island Lake in such a situation? You must be the overlord." It was true that Madame Yin was angry and sad. But Lu Li's departure was not a joke. Without Lu Li, the Bai family could not protect the Thousand Island Lake. "I don't care so much," Lu Li said with determination. "Let the families of the Thousand Island Lake deal with the matters of the Thousand Island Lake by yourselves. I could take care of you once, but not forever. I have my own business. I must go to the Central Plains." Looking at Lu Li's expression, Madame Yin panicked. Lu Li was not being angry with her. He really wanted to leave. She didn't want to linger in a small world for the rest of her life, nor did she want to experience the battle of the Bai Emperor Mountain again. She got up and walked to Lu Li. She got down on one knee in front of Lu Li, looked up and said, "Young Master Lu, I am sorry. Now, on behalf of the Bai family, I swear allegiance to you. From now on, you are the master of the Bai family. The Bai family will not disobey your orders. I will not disobey you either." Madame Yin was on her knees, so her collar was open. Luli looked down from above. He could see Madame Yan's beautiful face and the faintly discernible view of her breasts. Not disobey me? This sentence had a deep meaning and was very ambiguous. Looking at Madame Yan's eyes, Luli was sure of one thing. As long as he gave the order, Madame Yan would take off her dress and let him do whatever he wanted. Circumstances were stronger than people. Even if Du Zheng set up the trap and killed the old man of Heaven Prison, and by she because of Luli, Madame Yan dared not to show any dissatisfaction. Her nickname was the Black Widow. She was extremely smart. Chapter 284. Truth be told, Luli was tempted. If there was a man who was not tempted, then it must be Lu Xiaohui, a eunuch. What was more, Luli was still a virgin, an enchanting beauty and a widow. Luli didn't have to take responsibility. Now, she was kneeling in front of him and offering herself to him. She was a goddess that many men of the Thousand Island Lake could dream of. If it were any other time, Luli might lose control of himself. Luli was still brooding over what had happened. Also, he didn't think it was heroic to take advantage of others when they were weak. He thought about it for the time for one incense stick to burn and said, "Madam, get up. I don't need your loyalty, and I have said that I will not be an overlord. Of course, I will take care of the Bai family. Xiu Xue and Xia Shuang are my friends." Madame Yin stood up in joy and asked, "You are not leaving?" "Yes." Luli still said with determination, "I'm going to the Central Plains, and I will depart in half a month at most. But I will leave some warriors of the noble lord realm here, and I will talk to Du Zheng. With Du Zheng here, the three royal families will not dare to attack the Thousand Island Lake." Madame Yin said nothing. She knew that she could not keep Luli here. How could a disciple of the immediate Lu family of the Central Plains be interested in the Thousand Island Lake? Not even the Northern Desert. The Central Plains was the center of the world, the place where powerful warriors fought for hegemony. The Central Plains was hundreds of times larger than the Northern Desert. There were countless treasures, relics, and secret areas. It was easier to get mystical materials, to learn profound meanings, and to become powerful warriors. The Central Plains was where all the geniuses and powerful warriors gathered. It was the most wonderful world. Leave some warriors of the noble lord realm? On this thought, Madame Yin was confused. Shouldn't Luli take all the powerful warriors with him when he went to the Central Plains? It would be safer that way. Luli could tell that Madame Yin was confused, but he didn't explain. He said, "Don't worry so much. Stay at the Bai Emperor Mountain and develop the Bai family. If anything happens, send a message to Lu Yi. I will leave at least 3 warriors of the noble lord realm to protect the Bai family. Tomorrow, I will go to the Heaven Punishing Auction House and talk to Du Zheng." Madame Yin put her mind at ease. Luli was a man of his word. Leaving 3 noble lord realm warriors here would be enough to ensure the safety of the Thousand Island Lake. After Du Zheng spoke, the 3 kingdoms did not dare to act recklessly. Given the current situation of the 3 kingdoms, it was impossible for them to join forces to attack Luli. The Zi family still wanted to befriend Luli. Madame Yin looked at Luli with mixed feelings. Her dissatisfaction towards Luli was gone. The old man of Heaven Prison was dead, and it had nothing to do with Luli. At least, it was not Luli's intention to kill the old man of Heaven Prison and Bai Shi. She regretted that she didn't hook up with Luli earlier, and that she sent Su Qian to attack the Blood Evil Island. She knew that there was a crack between her and Luli that could never be healed. "Young master, this concubine will return first." Madame Yin bowed, smiled, and said, "Go to the auction house tomorrow. If you have time, come to the Bai Emperor Mountain. Xia Shuang and Xiu Xue want to see you." "You want to see me?" Luli couldn't help but laugh. If the 2 girls wanted to see him, they would have come together this time. Clearly, they were holding a grudge against each other. Just like with Madame Yin, once a crack was formed, it would be hard to mend it. Luli waved his hand, and Madame Yin left. Luli sat in the hall by himself, deep in thoughts. When he said that he would leave in half a month, he did not just say it casually. It was a decision he made after serious consideration. The Thousand Island Lake had settled down. As long as Du Zheng was at the northern desert, the three royal families would not attack the Thousand Island Lake. What else could he worry about? With Yi Cha here, the Lu family and the Yu family would be fine. Yu Luan had asked Yi Cha to release the soul worms and use some treasure materials to help him condense his spirit sea. It was only a matter of time before Yu Luan could recover. Lu Li could answer to Yu Huashan. He thought about it and called Lu Yi and Patriarch Ninen. Then he called Yi Cha up and said, Lu Yi, the God Down Island is yours. Clan leader Yi and the others will stay. You should develop well. Clan leader Yi, send someone to guard the God Down Island. If something happens to the Bai family, try your best to help. Take care of the Yu family as well. Yi Cha cupped his fists and said, Young master, don't worry. I will pay attention. Lu Yi and Patriarch 9 looked at each other. They both felt helpless. Dragons were destined to soar in the sky. Lu Li would have to leave eventually. Once he left, he would have nothing to do with the Lu family anymore. Lu Yi bit her lips and asked, Island owner, can I go with you? No. Looking at Lu Yi's desperate eyes, Lu Li didn't waver. He said with determination, the Central Plains is hundreds of millions of miles away. There are many dangers. I cannot take any of you with me. Lu Yi's face turned gloomy. She said nothing and stood there in silence. Lu Li asked Patriarch 9 to get Pei-In and the other family patriarchs of the God Down Island here. He glanced over them and said, During the war, I heard that someone cursed at me. Swish, swish, swish. The group of people's faces immediately turned snow white, and all of them knelt down with a plop. When the Yu family army came, many people did curse at Lu Li. Now, not only was Lu Li the uncrowned king of the Thousand Island Lake, he was also the leader of the most powerful force at the northern desert. One word from him, and everyone would have to die. Lu Li said nothing. He just stared at them coldly. Yi Cha emitted some killing intent. The atmosphere in the hall became suffocating. Pei-In and the others were sweating on their backs. Those who cursed at Lu Li were sweating on their foreheads. They were trembling. Lu Li stayed silent for the time for one incense stick to burn, which felt like a year to Pei-In and the others. He said coldly, Let bygones be bygones. From now on, you will listen to Lu Yi's orders. If anyone dares to disobey, Clan leader Yi, you will wipe out his entire family. Yi Cha quickly stepped forward, cupped his fists, and said, Yes, young master. The others nodded and shouted, Yes, young master. Lu Li waved his hand and asked them to leave. Only then did they leave quickly, wiping the cold sweat off. Lu Yi and Patriarch 9 thanked him gratefully. They both knew that Lu Li was paving the way for the Lu family. In the future, as long as nothing went wrong, the Lu family was destined to soar. At the very least, they could surpass the Lu family at the Wuling County. After Lu Yi and Patriarch 9 left, Lu Li looked at Yi Cha and asked Clan leader Yi, It is said that Du Zheng will not leak the information. But what if he does? I don't think so. Not many people can see through our secret skill. Yi Cha thought about it and said, As a matter of fact, it doesn't matter even if he does. We will go back to the small world at once and cut off our connection with the outside world. When Saint Lord reaches the human sovereign realm, we can find a way to dissolve our small world and come out. Well, if it comes to that, I will try my best. Lu Li nodded. Yi Cha risked the destruction of the Cyan Phoenix race to help him. The Cyan Phoenix race was very kind to him. Lu Li thought about it and asked a question that had been on his mind for a long time. Clan leader Yi, I am curious. There is no temple in your small world. How did you awaken your bloodline? Ha ha. Yi Cha laughed and explained, Young master, in this world, it is not only temples that can awaken bloodline. Many special races have their own ways. When you go to the central continent, you will discover that there are countless strange races in this world that you have never heard of before. You will discover many wonderful and strange things. That is the center of the world, the most wonderful world, the place where the strong yearn to go. Central Plains? Lu Li looked to the south. His eyes became misty. His heart was filled with longing. He was about to venture into that mysterious land. The blood in his body began to surge. He wondered if he would be able to reach the Liu clan successfully. P.S. It is the beginning of July. Can you get a guaranteed monthly ticket? Everyone will get one at the beginning of the month. Everyone has one. Monthly tickets were not a good thing. Don't ask for it. You will lose face if your ranking is low. Go ahead. You will be exhausted again. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.